I don't get the analytics.
So you know what they used to always say to me? Why don't you smile more? Why don't you laugh more? And I said, you know what I laugh? When someone tells me a funny joke. I'm not just going to...
Do you get the sense that he cares about any of this?
No.
I don't think he cares about anything.
I don't think he cares about
He cares about horses.
What is patois?
Look it up.
How do you even spell patois?
Yes, I already knew you didn't know that one.
I thought it was patois, P-A-T-O-I-R. I Googled it, and it pulls up Urban Dictionary. A stupid Frenchman who is a Boy Scout and has sex with a moose.
What?
So how do you spell patois?
I know it's stupid. I don't care.
Like, come on. And you know why there's pressure on you, pal? You know why there's pressure on you? Because you've never gotten out of the second round.
Oh my goodness. Didn't see you guys there. What's going on? Welcome to the Athletic NBA Show 2023 NBA Draft Live Reaction Show. Yeah. Rolls off the tongue, but it's good for SEO. I'm Zach Harper. We got Mo Dakhil. We got Jay King. We're going to have Andrew Schlecht live on the scene. We're going to have Dave Dufour popping in. We're going to have all kinds of guests throughout tonight. We're not doing the whole draft. I'll tell you right now. I got to do radio later. We got to write stuff. The draft is long.
Who do you guys think is going number one?
Grady Dick with that outfit?
No, that's the worst. That's got to be one of the worst
undrafted
outfits. I don't know if we can pop that up there. If you haven't seen the Grady Dick outfit for tonight, it is a sequenced red, kind of like a fruit roll-up style jacket. But that's not the thing under it. The thing under it, I stole that from Twitter. I'm sorry, whoever I stole that from, but they tweeted it to me, and I don't remember, and I'll go find it later and credit you.
If they tweeted it to you, it's yours.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's legal. But the thing that's the problem with it is there is a sequenced same color turtleneck underneath. That's the issue I have. I don't have an issue with him.
That's not the only issue.
Well, I don't have an issue. Like, look, if he's gonna have his own like GD logo on a chain, that like whatever, that's fine. Like that's spend your money how you want to spend your money. That outfit though is not okay. No. It's not okay. But I know it's a Thursday. Happy Wednesday to everybody, especially in San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama gets to be coronated with the number one pick tonight.
Did you just say Wednesday?
Yeah, thanks for reading The Bounce. The Bounce is the free newsletter that you get from The Athletic from myself and Shams Charania every single morning in your inbox. That's right. It's free. It's one of the few things we don't charge for. That's good. And so we've been celebrating Wednesday, because his name's Wembanyama. Do you get it, Jay?
No, they went way over my head.
It's right up there with patois.
Jay, where are you right now? You're at the Celtics practice facility?
I am at the Celtics practice facility, yes.
What are the vibes? Kristaps Porzingis gets traded there. They inexplicably get 2 picks. One of them is the 25th pick tonight. How much did that change your job?
I mean, I was up till like 3-ish working last night.
I bet.
And then now they have a first-round pick, so today is a little more important.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Stevens will eventually talk about the trade that happened, so it didn't alleviate my pressures, didn't ease the burden on me, but I accidentally walked into the Celtics war room today, which was cool.
Okay, what was on the board?
So I honestly walked in and they had it in like where the Celtics media entrance normally is. And I showed up early to get ready for our live stream to the draft. And I walked in and saw some whiteboards and some screens. And I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, you got to start taking pictures, man. That's a bad reporter. What are you doing?
I was immediately ushered into a different room and taken away. So I didn't have time to pull out the camera phone. I didn't have time to see what prospects they were zeroing in on.
Let's say this. Let's say a round pick 21, 22. Maybe you load this thing up on your phone. Maybe you'd have to like go find a bathroom, right? And maybe you kind of mosey around the facility and you accidentally walk in as they're phoning in their picks. Who knows?
There's security now. There's curtains.
Security.
I lost my chance. I blew it. I really did. It was my
all
one
right.
and only chance at the Celtics war room, and I lost it.
Adam Silver is at the podium. When do we think this first pick actually happens?
Should be. I mean,
It's
no.
It should be-
just hand him.
It happened weeks ago, but
Right.
I think just really they got to do the sell the TV dollars, the commercials, the package they put together on Wembanyama.
Grady Dick just looks outrageous. By the way, every time I look at him, he's just awful.
Mo, I'm gonna say the first pick actually happened around January 4th, 2004. That is, I believe, Victor Wembanyama's birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's when the first pick happened for this draft.
That's fair. It was just a question of who got to make the pick. What we found out in May.
Now Jay is out on Wemby. He has said that he's an overrated.
Far from true.
He said that on the Athletic NBA Show podcast, which you should subscribe to. Mo, where are you on Wemby?
I'm the exact opposite of Jay.
Mm.
I'm all in. I think he might be a minute, just kind of adjusting. I think Spurs might start him off slow, and I think that might be a bit of a slow start with the way
G League, Toros.
Yeah.
That would actually be great.
Maybe even the G-League practice squad, like not even playing in the games.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just going to be he's unbelievable, man. I think he's going to take a minute. Maybe the shot will be a little bit slow to come along.
Yeah.
But just right off the bat, if he just stands at the rim and puts his hands up, he's blocking 3 shots a game, like without trying. And I think that's kind of the deal there. And I think I'm all in.
He's going to need some time coming off the bench behind Zach Collins to really get familiar with the NBA.
Zach Collins still on that team. Goodness, good agent, man.
No, but seriously, I don't know why you think I'm against Victor Wembanyama.
You just called him overrated last week.
Only because people are saying he's already the greatest player who ever lived.
What people
Who
have
said that?
Exactly. That was
The
my
whole
exact
world.
thought. No.
What do you mean nobody said that, Jay? Where are you seeing this? Just because you see somebody on Twitter with 25 numbers at the end of their name is not
that
the
he
whole
will
world.
absolutely throw into our group chat of like, see, people are saying this.
I was watching JJ Redick's hottest or worst takes of the year today, and one of them was from Chris Broussard, who claimed that if Wembanyama is not Hakeem Olajuwon, then he is flopped.
Look, but you know what that is. That's not a real take. That's please watch our show.
Yeah,
Right?
like, come on, Jay. Come on,
I'm
man.
just saying. But okay. So he's probably the greatest defensive prospect we've ever seen. He's way up there if he's not. He's an extreme defensive prospect. Yeah. And then he has the offensive game. My one qualm with him, why does he shoot so many crap shots when he's a 27% three-point shooter?
I think because he was 18, 19 years old on a team where it's just like, hey, go figure it out. Like, I think there's no problem with young guys trial and error. It's why when a young guard, like let's say a rookie guard comes in and has a bunch of turnovers, I actually think there's such thing as good turnovers in the sense of like they're learning like what their limitations are as a young player. Now, if you're 4 or 5 years in, you're still making those same turnovers. That's bad. But with shot selection for a dude playing overseas at 18, 19 years old, I don't necessarily think that's a knock on him. Also, he still shoots a great percentage from the floor, which just shows you how good everything else is.
But it's not even that, too. It's just the team itself wasn't meant to be good. It was just built around him.
And they still got to the finals.
And they got to the finals. And you're going to really start talking about like, oh, he's taking so many bad shots and all of this stuff. This was a team this was supposed to be a developmental year for him and that team. And that's the point. And to the point, there was not just him, but Zach's favorite guy in the draft might possibly get drafted.
Bilal Coulibaly. I don't know if I said that correctly. I don't care if I said that correctly. That dude is going to be a monster. Yeah, he's going to take a few years, but he's going to be a monster. He's so good.
But I mean, like, that's what we're talking about.
Are you ready to put the group chat take on here?
Oh, he's the second best player in the draft.
Yeah, that's a big
prospect.
You are right.
Scoot's the second best player, but I'm all in. Like, that's how I love Scoot. I'm willing to put Coulibaly up there. Yeah, he's amazing.
I love that take. I love the conviction here.
That's
a lot
Zach
of conviction.
Harper. You've done enough podcasts to know that that's
just
how
wait.
Zach is.
I told you guys.
But my thing is,
next season, hot take Harper.
That's not normally. He's not like a real Zach type of guy.
No, he's not. But...
I was watching a bunch of, you know what's funny? I was watching a bunch of Wembanyama stuff, and I kept noticing, and I was like, all right, let me like really dive in, because I'd seen him throughout the years. They're putting these Metropolitan 92 games on the NBA app and stuff, and so I had seen him, and I was kind of paying attention to him, but mostly just paying attention to Wemby. And then I started focusing in on him. I just think there's so much raw talent there. There's so much length. There's so much instinct. And you just have to focus it all. Like, you get him on a team where there is good player development. I think, a 4-year project becomes a 2-year project. I just think he's going to be a monster. I think he's going to be an exceptional player and one of the steals of this draft.
I really think it'll come down to where he gets drafted, though.
Probably
the development program in those situations, because we've seen it where projects go to the wrong place and they never develop.
I really want him in OKC.
That'd be a great spot.
He would fit really well.
Yeah.
And they've been so good at developing that type of talent, with just like allowing guys to just play the game and use all their skills and show off all their traits. So I'd be in. What do you guys think about the Wemby nickname?
I think shortening Wembanyama is good. I don't think he needs a nickname other than just like Wemby. Like, we don't need to come up with like the extraterrestrial or anything like that, right? Like, when your name is Victor Wembanyama, you don't need a nickname.
I think he'd be so much more intimidating if he just went by Victor.
Victor? Like, if we just went Victor, like Victor across the back of the jersey?
Your ass. Just Victor. Wemby's too childish to me. I need him to become Victor.
Okay, but maybe Wemby then becomes Victor, right? Like maybe a couple years in, they start winning.
Right
like,
now,
I think that's
27% on those BS threes. Once he hits like 37, he's
headed to the podium to officially announce the. Look, you see those Spurs jackets those fans have? Those are clean.
Nice.
Oh my god,
those are fresh.
Hey, shout out to Marcus Thompson, who talked about it on Hoops Adjacent when he got his starter Spurs jacket stolen from him.
Yeah,
that was a quality.
Oh, they're personalized with Wembanyama on the back. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is your first pick. I loved that shot of him at the school the other day where he and that little girl both lied about their height.
Yes.
I love that.
Perfect.
What was she, like a 5th grader, 6th grader, something like that? She asked him, how tall are you? He lied and said 7'3". She lied and said she's 5'3". She had to have been 4.5 feet tall.
Right.
He's definitely 7'4", 7'5". I think he's 7'5". I think our graphic's wrong. I don't care what that measurement is.
Who hasn't lied about their size? How tall they were.
He's tiring. He's towering over Rudy Gobert.
Oh, 2 years ago when the first time we saw the picture of the two of them side by side, he was already massively taller than him. And he's grown since then. He's grown.
I was listed at 6'3" in high school.
How tall were you?
6'1". 6'1". Wish
you remember Hoop It Up?
5'5" energy.
You remember Hoop It Up? That tournament, like 3-on-3 tournament. Yo, man, I remember the first time we played in Hoop It Up, and we were like honest about everything. And all of a sudden, we were playing against like kids who were like 4 or 5 inches taller than us. Or like, oh shoot, we gotta lie. Like, we have to lie about our height next year, and we did. And then it was a lot more even. But yeah, people love to lie about their height. It's just a tradition of basketball. Yeah,
it's what we do.
Kevin Durant saying he's not 7'1", right? Like, it's just like that's what it is. So everyone was kind of saying like, all right, the Spurs are on track, and obviously they are with Wembanyama. I think I like the comparisons to the Duncan situation when they tanked for Duncan and got him. Wembanyama is obviously not joining David Robinson on the court, right?
I don't know. Robinson might be able to give them 15 minutes a game.
He might have to if Zach Collins is the other option. But he's joining Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan and
Devin Vassell.
Yeah, like there's talent there, but it'll be interesting to see how this configuration on the court happens, Mo. Like what they feel comfortable throwing out there. And I'm sure Pop's going to experiment with a ton of different lineups and everything. But it'll be curious to see the path they go.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things when you're watching this team. I think this season's going to be a lot of experimenting. See who works with them and who doesn't. I think there's been a push where some people are like, they should go try to compete right now. And I'm like, I'm not sure they're ready to. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure Victor is really at this point. Like, coming into a season where you got to play 82 games a year, versus when he was playing 2 games a week. It's a massive difference, in that sort of area. And you want him to kind of build up his body and get everything, working order. But I like some of the pieces they have. Like, I think Sohan's going to be great next to him. I think that's a great player to pair with him. I think a little bit more toughness, a little more dirtiness in the way he kind of plays. He'll get dirty and do a lot of the nitty gritty stuff. I kind of just like where they're at, and just this whole year, just experiment, man. Pop's going to go nuts.
Well, even if they wanted to be good, I don't think they could, Jay. Like, there's just like they're too young. Young teams don't generally win.
And they're also, I like the idea of taking it slow and finding out what he's going to be. Like, you don't have to make him anything right now. You don't have to surround him with certain types of players. You get to just have a blank canvas for him, find out what he's going to do best, build everything, the whole system around whatever he does best. And Pop is the best coach for that. He's going to be trying different things. He's going to be experimenting with lineup combinations. He's going to be using him inside, outside, in the pick and roll, as a ball handler, all of that. And then you find out more and more about him over the first year or two of his career, and then you can see what becomes available and see what types of players fit best around him once you have more information on that. Like, there's no point in rushing this. You have a generational prospect who's going to be in your organization for a long time, and I think a lot of teams screw up by trying to go after the first guy they can get, the first big name that they can find. Just take your time, find the right guys, pay the right guys, and don't screw this up. Like, you have an incredible opportunity. Just don't screw it up.
Before we move on to the second pick, question from our fearless producer, Dave DeFore, in the chat. Over under, I'll put it at 59.5 games for Victor Wembanyama rookie season.
Ooh, I'm going over. I'm going over. I think he's got to get 65 to get rookie of the year.
Or MVP?
Okay.
I'm going.
Okay. You didn't even wait for next year for hot take Harper to fucking show up.
Hey, man. It is next year. We're done with the finals. It's next year. Now, like, I think he's going to play like 68, 70 games. Somewhere in that range.
The only thing I could see him starting a little bit slow, just because I think he's going to play in the FIBA World Cup. I think Pop's not going to try to throw everything at him at once. And again, I think they're just going to try to gradually build him up into everything. And I don't know if Wembanyama is going to be interested in that. Like, that's where it's going to get interesting with the way they.
Oh, Pop goodness. On the hot seat, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
but
yes.
I don't know. Everything I've heard about him is that he loved the fact that he went to San Antonio. Yeah. Because he wanted a place where basically it could be his, and he could, like, basically build a basketball factory around him. And it's, I don't think he's I don't think he wants to rush things. I think, like, he played for a team in France that, quite frankly, wasn't expected to be any good. Now, they were good. Yeah. They were really good because he led the league in points, rebounds, blocks, everything, and just kind of sped them up. But I get the sense that he approaches his career very patiently, he has a plan for everything, and he's kind of been waiting for this for a long time.
I don't know if you guys have the ESPN feed, the draft feed on there, but they just showed a dude from San Antonio took off his cowboy hat and he had Victor Wembanyama shaved into his head.
Yeah,
that was.
We got Victor crying.
I put in a request. I put in a request to Michelle Beadle, who obviously does some work with the Spurs, and asked her what's going on. I cannot repeat what was said. Just so you know.
Okay. Can you text it to me? Because I'm very curious. Can you forward this text to me?
The number 2 pick is Brandon Miller. I knew that was a smokescreen today, folks. I knew it. I've heard for weeks that it's Brandon Miller. I think there was maybe a little hope to throw out some extra trade issues, trade options for them leading up. Maybe if you wanted to swoop in and try to get Scoot Henderson. But Brandon Miller, 6'8", out of Bama. I don't love his shot. I like a lot of his game. There is some, I guess, concern. Like, obviously the off the court stuff, we know that the tragedy with the shooting and I don't even know, allegedly providing the gun. I don't know what actually was finalized there with those reports. But from the basketball side, if you have done your homework as the Charlotte Hornets and you believe that okay, this is the character we can have on this team. Like, you know, I don't even know like how you even qualify that, but from a basketball standpoint, there's concerns, I guess, that like he wasn't great against good competition at the college level. I also wonder, because of the stuff that he dealt with due to his own actions, not absolving, but I wonder how much that affects the season. I wonder how much that affects him. He is still a very young person. And I don't know, man. I think he's a really incredible prospect. I don't know if Charlotte's the right spot for him. I don't know that, trusting Charlotte to cultivate culture is a little tough.
Charlotte's is not the right spot for anybody. Let's just be honest. Like, the way this whole organization has carried itself throughout everything, like, it's just not the right spot for a lot of these places. So anytime a young guy goes there, you got to be a little bit nervous.
They're getting a new ownership though. Things could change.
Right.
They could. I can't look at that situation and believe that Michael Jordan has been a good owner for a while.
No. That's an obvious one. I don't think anybody was faking that one. I mean, I thought that was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
but I'm saying whoever comes in is probably going to be an upgrade, maybe a substantial one, and I think that can have a huge impact on the way your entire organization is run. I did love how Brandon Miller was taking shots at Michael Jordan. And
I thought that was maybe the reason those reports came out today.
That was my whole thing. I was like, I wouldn't have put it past MJ to have heard that and go, oh no, we're not drafting him. We're taking Scoot. Yeah. Like, done. That was honestly, like, I thought it was real. I was genuinely going, and that was the reason why.
What was more inflammatory, that or him calling Paul George his GOAT?
This guy's got some crazy comments.
Isn't it weird to think that, like,
he came in?
And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's the only way it's going to come out. Isn't it weird to think that Paul George is someone's like favorite player ever?
Yes.
No, GOAT.
I know, but I just favorite player ever, GOAT, whatever. Like, both of those seem weird to me.
Well, it just made sense for me, just for the fact that, like, he's been compared to Paul George so much that, of course, he also has a lot of nonsense takes the way Paul George has had over the time. Like, it was like, oh no, the comparison actually holds true.
Look, Paul George has been pretty solid since his podcast started. You know, he's been a lot more measured, and he's pretty, well, I don't know if it's good, but the clips I see off it are good. Scoot Henderson's going number 3 to Portland per Shams Charania of The Athletic. Scoot, do we expect him to stay in Portland?
Yes.
I expect him to stay. I don't expect Dame.
You think they're actually going to trade Dame? I just don't see it, man. I think it's a game of chicken between the two sides of, like, please request a trade. Please trade me. Like, they don't want the responsibility of being the ones to start that.
This is a collision course. And here's my theory. My theory is that Dame has been leaking this stuff, saying that it's veteran teammates and stuff, to put it on the organization to trade that pick, and if they don't, to give him the opportunity to say, look, I wanted them to build up the roster. They didn't build up the roster. They went with the young guy. They chose Scoot Henderson. They kept the pick. They didn't upgrade the roster substantially, and I need to get out of here, and I hope everybody understands that. That's my theory on this situation. I don't know how true that is, but this has been lining up for years now, and once they got the third pick, and with the roster they have, it's so far from being a contender. They need so much talent. They need so much more experience. And the only way to get that would have been to move the third pick. If they're not going to do that, I think it's time to move Dame. I think it's been time to move Dame. It's not a Bradley Beal situation because he's actually one of the top 10 to 15 players in the league when he's right. He's coming off an amazing season, but it's time.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like, I think it's best for the organization, Mo, to move on, to do right by him, to do right by themselves, and starting a proper rebuild. I don't trust this organization in terms of the trades they make. I do trust them in terms of drafting. I think they have a good eye for drafting talent. I think it's the other stuff they struggle with. So I would put myself in a position to draft as much of this talent coming in as possible.
Yeah, I would say just the pure fact of, like, it's been time to trade Dame. They should have done this last year, really, to be honest. Like, let's just really kind of talk about it. Even Dame was kind of like soft launched last year, a trade request, and pulled back at the last second. I think this is the year he gets traded, but I don't know. Like, just the way I think Zach's right, and this is a game of chicken between both teams. Kind of both parties sort of staring at each other, hoping like they just don't want to come away being the bad guy. And I just think in this situation, everybody would understand if you move Dame in that stuff. And I like what they've done. I like the drafts that they've had in the past. So, and I think maybe it's time to start building it. I just don't buy the idea of like drafting Scoot and then we're going to have him kind of come off the bench or something. I would
play them together, man. Like I know he's short. He's 6'2". He's built. He's got good length. He's strong.
Dude is a linebacker.
Oh my God. He's got like a Brian Urlacher neck. He's a monster. I think he's going to be incredible. I think he's going to be incredible right away. Like, yeah, the shooting's got to come around, but that's a lot of players, right? Like I don't worry too much about that. I would much rather play him and Dame together than Simons and Dame together.
I still think you're going to have the same defensive problems. You're still going to have a small defensive bad backcourt and all this. I think you're just going to have the same issues over and over again. We saw this with CJ. Now we've seen it with Simons, and now we're going to see the same thing with Scoot. I mean, for me, I want them to just trade him so we can just get this thing over with and move on.
I have.
Go
ahead.
I really believe in Anthony Simons. I don't know if everybody does, but
I don't know, man.
He's such a good shooter on such high volume.
Absolutely.
I think if you give him more of the reins and he's not with Dame and it's more his show, I just think he's a really impressive offensive talent. I don't know. I mean, obviously point guards in the league are just fantastic. It's so hard to be even one of the top 15 point guards in the league, but he's got a chance to like really be a great offensive player with the way he shoots the ball off movement, off the bounce, off everything.
So just to update, we've got the report. Number 4 pick will be Amin Thompson of the Thompson twins of Overtime Elite, which I don't know what to do with Overtime Elite players. It's the
hardest thing to scout.
I've been texting scouts, executives, whatever, right? And I get the same sentiment back of some version of, and pardon my French, put the kids to bed for this one, folks. They have fucking power plays in that league. How do you make sense of what you're seeing on the court? And it's just a seizure-inducing light show during the play. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It looks like something out of a 2K video game, but they're like, these Thompson twins, like, they look like they can play. They don't know what to do with the competition. Want to remind everybody, I guaranteed this on Twitter earlier today, okay? I put out a mock draft. I said, I'm going 58 for 58, and if I don't, my punishment, I'm having wings or sushi as a punishment. So far, 4 for 4. Okay.
Only 54
so far, 4
left.
for 4. Only 54 left, and I feel really good about that.
You gave yourself a real tough punishment too.
Swapping seconds. Yeah. Well, look, man, it might be bad sushi, it might be bad wings. You don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay. Sugarfish is not going to be bad.
What do we do? That's true. What do we do if it's? What do we do with Amin Thompson as a prospect, Jay, and when it comes to this Rockets team, which I know it also, by the way, update everyone. It sounds like James Harden's not going there anymore. It sounds like James Harden is going back to Philly, but none of that's confirmed. But what do you make of Amin Thompson, Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, like joining this group of players?
So
and reminder, Ime Udoka is now the coach for everybody out there.
And he's probably devastated that he didn't wait for a different job. Honestly,
I mean,
the Suns, the Bucks.
Could you imagine the run up to the race to get him if he didn't take that job?
Imagine if the Pistons decided to pay him $100 million. Could have been him,
deal, man.
Could have been him, but I don't know what to think of their young core because I like a lot of their players for drastically different reasons. I think Şengün, super skilled. You can run offense through him. Has rare feel for a big man.
Yeah.
Jabari Smith, I think, is going to be a great switching big man defender with a lot of length. I like the way he played at the end of last season. Jalen Green can really score, though I question a lot of other stuff with him.
Oh, man, he's good. He's my kind of guy.
And honestly, I want to see this group now with Thompson too, just with a new coach who's going to push them entirely different than they were pushed last season. But they need to show that they can think the game. And that to me, like the Thompson brothers, you look at their questions about can they shoot, like questions about the competition. It seems like they know how to play the game and have some instincts for both sides of the game that can really help a team. And I like that they can kind of fill in the gaps for a group that Thompson can kind of fill in the gaps for a group that, quite frankly, needs connectors and needs guys who aren't just focused on scoring the basketball all the time. Like that seems like a really good fit to me.
I'm actually excited because I think this is the right pick for them in terms of just let's get somebody that will pass. His shot's going to be a work in progress. Yeah. It's going to take a while for that to kind of come out, but at least just in that sense of like, hey, let's move the ball. I think with him, Şengün's passing, who I think he's a phenomenal passer. I think like there's a lot of fun stuff you can have with this team, with him being that kind of connector and that major ball handler, and then kick it over to Green to go do the one-on-one stuff when they need one-on-one buckets and isolations and things like that, and the offense breaks down. I think there's a lot of stuff that they can do in there. I'm kind of excited to see what their young guys look like because, let's be honest, the last few years with no real offensive structure, it feels like lost years for them.
Let me ask you this. If Fred VanVleet is their point guard next year, how do you feel about that whole group together? Look, I just know what I've heard. Fred's getting a hefty offer. I don't know if he's going to take it, but I just know like it seems he would change.
He would change everything for that group. Like he would bring Jabari Smith to life. He would change their toughness. He would change their organization. He would change. So like they were the most structureless team that I've seen in a long. Like that was an AAU team playing professional basketball in the NBA. It was disgusting. Kevin Porter Jr. just does some unforgivable things.
Them trying to make him a point guard. Like I don't mind the experiment, but man, it just didn't work.
Yeah, and that's tough on him, right? Like that's just not who he is. You're really putting him in a bad spot with all of that stuff. And
I would love like a mature guy to come in and show those guys. They clearly have not had enough veteran guidance in their NBA lives. And I like the fact that they now have a lot of length and athleticism. Smith, Thompson, Tari Eason, like they have guys.
Thompson's a crazy athlete, man. He's nuts, and he's a good playmaker.
Yeah, I think he's a really good fit. I don't know what the direction is, what the vision is yet with them. They're a weird mix of young talent, but I want to see what Ime can do with them, and I want to see what they can look like if they do accept a little structure.
Yeah, so I'm in Thompson. Who do you like more between him and Osser? Is it Osser? Is that I believe that's how you say it?
I'm just gonna go with yes.
Yeah.
I like the Thompson brothers.
You just don't want to say it.
Super helpful. Thank you.
Good. I like Osura a little bit more just because I like the defense aspect of it. I think being a better defender and a little bit versatile in that sense, and I think that's kind of the way I'm leaning, but I don't think you can go wrong. Like both of them are crazy athletic. Like it's kind of wild. But again, Zach, I just go back to have they played a basketball game in 2 years? Like it's so hard with the overtime.
Like the last thing I've seen of them where it was like seemed like decent was like the U18 Team USA stuff. Like that's the last time I know like okay, there's competition you can evaluate.
An actual
right?
basketball game that you can evaluate. Like none of the other side stuff that you have going with it and things like that. So it kind of makes things a little bit difficult in the assessment of them over the past 2 seasons. But I just listen. The skills there, the athleticism is there. It's now the question of like how are they going to work in a team environment in a normal team setting with everything that goes with it. And I think that's the question everybody's banking on. But listen, man, using the 4th pick and the 5th pick on the brothers right there, I don't think it's a reach. These guys are crazy athletic. If they hit, it's a massive swing for you.
And it's possible that he's undervalued because of the situation that he's played.
Yeah, for sure.
It's possible that people are kind of discarding what he did and overlooking that this is a 6'7" dude who could potentially be a lead playmaker in the NBA with freak athleticism. and that the only reason why he's not up there with Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller for the number 2 pick even is that he played in a weird environment.
Yeah, if he goes to the G League, I wonder how that changes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just becomes. You have a legitimate competition for this, probably the 2nd or 3rd pick. Like, I think you're right in that race with those things, with those guys. But it was such an awkward situation for, I think, just scouts. Forget just us trying to figure it out. I think even for scouts trying to figure out how to deal with these guys and draft war rooms and things like that. Like, Zach, they had power plays.
I don't understand. Like, you can't judge basketball like that.
Like, how do you look at this? Oh, he's great in transition. Yeah, because they're playing 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes.
And
like,
half the guys out there are 6'1". Like,
yeah, I don't. It's so hard. You know, and
power plays and hoops is just outrageous.
It's nuts,
That's
man.
outrageous.
It's Vivek Ranadive's dream, right? Like, this is what he's been trying to get.
I forgot about that. What a story that was.
Isn't it nice not to like worry about owners anymore? Especially like if you're the Kings, like you had just all these crazy things for so long, and now they're just like, at least after last year, like they're good.
Oh, there's a chance. There's always that chance that he might.
Right, you never know. Right.
It's that itch of like, I haven't done anything in a while. I've been good for a year. Now it's time to go nuts. So there's always that risk.
He might just be past the new owner thing. And the new owner craze, it's a wild disease.
It lasted like
longer
9
than it
years.
should
Yeah,
have.
How long is it going to last for Ishbia, though? Ishbia came in.
Look, he's
I don't know.
doing stuff. I don't know.
I don't know.
Trade for him. Trade for him. Trade
way,
everybody. Trade every pick. Trade
No,
every
in order
player.
for
Trade
Ishbia,
all
because
of
the
them.
tax bill will come.
Yeah,
quicker.
the Thompson twins are going back to back. How about that? That's kind of cool, man.
That is cool.
And this is gonna be the first time they've been apart. This is gonna be like they're not sharing their bank account like the Morris brothers.
That's a bad idea for anybody.
It's a terrible idea, but like we're not gonna have one of those instances with those guys where it's gonna be a situation where we're gonna try to find a way to make it so that we play together.
All right, so I'm gonna admit something here. It's like I'm really dumb when it comes to twins, right? Like I don't understand.
Only when it comes to twins?
Yeah, I'm great at everything else, but I don't understand when it comes to twins. I don't understand how the dynamic works. I don't know. Like, look, hear me out on this, okay? Do they have telepathic power? I don't know. Like I've talked to twins before, and they're saying things like, you know, like I know what she's thinking, I know what he's thinking, whatever, but I don't know if it's just like it's a familiarity.
They're lying to you.
I've tested it before. I know, like at least like the research I've done, I've seen it, and so I don't know.
Research I've done.
I don't know. Like,
I've spoken to twins was my research.
Hey, it's research. I don't know. Like, I don't know if telepathy is real with them. And so the Thompson twins, you know, are they going to, if one gets flagrantly fouled, does the other one feel it? These are things we don't really know. The Lopez brothers didn't let us in on this. So
come to think of it, Marcus Morris has never been the same since Markieff was hit by Jokic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He kind of fell apart. He got out of the rotation. He doesn't like Tyloo anymore. Like, there's a lot going on, right?
Okay.
So I'm just saying, look, all right, Mo, if you have information, I don't, go for it. But Thompson twins go back to back. I don't like
your
Ahmed
research was talking to twins.
Yeah. When Ahmed got drafted, did he then think, well, I'm going next?
My sister has twins.
Probably. Yes.
Okay.
He actually was going.
Anytime, uncle of twins.
And I've never seen that. So I think we're.
But what if they're hiding it from you because they're like, well, we can't let everyone know?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the case.
Dude,
I think it's
undecided. I think it's undecided science of. I would like to do more research, but twins do freak me out. Like I'm willing to admit that. Like they freak me out. I don't.
NBA twins
just
freaked you
no
out
trade, but popping myself into the the stream just for this. Zach, you're onto something here.
Oh my God.
Sometimes twins marry other twins.
What's that about?
They're trying to create
superhumans.
There's stuff happening there. Zach, you're onto something.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Finally, some help in this conversation.
I think that probably has more to do with proximity than any.
They're not around twins all the time.
You're going to be hanging out with. You're going to be hanging out with siblings.
Your allies is Jay King. And
I'm not
Dave,
an ally.
Jay's not an ally. What are you talking about?
I thought Jay was saying he was onto something. Dave and Dave Dufour, who only cares about Danny Green. Like I would just be careful.
Imagine if Danny Green had a twin. You know, they care about two of them, and they would probably marry twins.
Insufferable. Dave would have been insufferable if Danny Green had a twin. Which set of NBA twins has freaked you out the most?
Double those championships.
Which set of NBA twins has freaked you out the most, though?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the Morris brothers, because they got the same tattoos, and that I don't trust that. You're sharing a bank account, you have the same tattoos. Like I don't.
The sharing of the bank account.
Weird.
That was it for me.
That's
the sharing
weird.
of the bank account. I was out.
And then they got mad that they got screwed on like extension discussions, right? Like they went as a package deal. I was like, yeah, discount, buddy. Buy one, get one. Like it's a Whole Foods special.
I once walked up to Marcus Morris at Summer League to say hello, and he just stared back, like just glared back at me.
Yeah.
And Markieff, it was not Marcus, and he was not thrilled.
To be fair,
recognized as the wrong Morris one.
If you had gotten it right, he probably still would have had the same reaction. He's kind of an ass.
And I wonder, according to Zach's theory, at the same time, Marcus was probably staring at somebody else with the death stare, and that's why you got it from Markieff as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and by Zach's line of thinking, which is way wrong.
No, I don't think that's true. The Orlando Magic refuse to have shooters outside of Franz Wagner because they are going to take Anthony Black, who I like a lot. I don't know that I like him as a point guard. A lot of people talk about him being a lead guard at the NBA level. He flat out cannot shoot. I mean, he's good
though.
What?
He's good.
He's going to be a monster defender.
I love Anthony Black.
The idea of him as a defender at the NBA level, he'll be able to guard 1 through 3, maybe 1 through 4. He's going to be a great defender. He's a good playmaker. I worry about the limitation. Like, you really have to restructure that entire shot. It's nasty.
Yeah.
See, I'm cool with this because the way I see the Orlando Magic, like what can make them different from any other team is that they can be enormous.
Yeah.
Right? Because their two best players are Banchero and Wagner, who are 6'10" and just a house, and 6'9" and long and strong. And so you can build just an overwhelming 5 with those guys as your 3 and 4 or 2 and 3, wherever you want to play them, because they're gifted. Mm-hmm. And I think if you get a long guard who can defend, who can give you secondary playmaking, who can do a lot of different things, I just think it's going to fit really well. And I love the idea of building just a huge team of long athletes around those guys with them as the primary guys. And like that vision for me makes a lot of sense.
It'd be nice if one of them could shoot. I mean, like the guards that they're putting around them, just to continue to kind of spread the floor and give a little bit more of that. I like Black. I just think they're going to make other moves. I think this is, you know, we saw reports earlier today of Jalen. They're looking to shop Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony. I don't know what their market's going to be in that sense, but I think it's tough to pair Fultz and Black in the backcourt, and just like you're just putting yourself in a bad position shooting wise.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, from what I've seen, it sounds like they like Fultz, you know, second half of that season, like kind of convinced them, all right, we need you around. Fultz maybe is trying to get a bigger deal than what they think he's worth. So we'll see how that shakes out. But that, yeah, I think my problem is like, one, I still really want to believe in Jalen Suggs, but I don't know. It's not late in it. He's still very young, but I like there's something that, you know, it's missing. And they do need someone to organize everything. Maybe Black does that, even if he becomes just a decent scorer. Doesn't have to be a guy who stretches the floor necessarily. It just can't be we're playing 15 feet off of you, right? Unless he becomes very strong with the ball and he can attack that and he can find ways to take advantage of that. Because I do think with a willing passer who isn't forced into shots, you can exploit that kind of laying off someone. But yeah, they need shooting. We got 6 picks in: Wemby, Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, the Thompson twins,
Victor,
and Anthony Black. We will come back with pick number 7 and beyond after this ad break.
Today's show is brought to you by Front Door. Download the Front Door app and get a free video chat. We all have that long, incredibly nagging home to-do list that we keep putting off. It's full of annoying stuff that just needs to be fixed. A dripping dishwasher, hole in the drywall, or maybe your dryer is not actually drying your clothes. Well, wouldn't it feel great to get all that done? Well, now you can, and it's easier than ever. Introducing Front Door, the all-new one-stop home repair and maintenance app. Front Door lets you video chat with experts in real time so you can diagnose the problem faster. Sometimes you can fix it yourself on the video chat, or Front Door will send you a list of vetted and trusted pros to come out and help solve the problem. With a Front Door membership, it's easy to cross things off your home to-do list and enjoy that feeling of done. Download the app now and get a free video chat with an expert to start solving your problems today. Today's show is brought to you by LinkedIn. Visit linkedin.com/NBA Show 23 for more information. Are you struggling to close deals? You know, cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and the seller at every stage, especially when the sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales, and we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/NBA Show 23. That is linkedin.com/NBA Show 23 for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/NBA Show 23 and get started.
Wow, guys.
You're
what an ad break. What an ad
Thank
break.
you.
Dave killing it on the reads.
A beautiful ad break for you too, and your growing son.
What?
Your favorite
Pacers
player?
pick is in, guys.
And it is being traded. It's in and it's being traded. Who I'm calling the steal of the draft. Bilal Coulibaly being drafted by the Pacers according to Shams Charania and traded to Washington. I love that for the Wizards.
So
I am
move
now
they finally made.
You're
in on the
Wizards. Oh my God. If you thought they were fun last season, just wait till this season.
That's an amazing move.
This is
an
move.
OKC move from Will Dawkins, who was in OKC, and Winger, who was in OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is an OKC move.
Look,
we talked about how to be the perfect Thunder guy, and the old Thunder regime just snagged him.
Right.
It is look, he's a project. But I'm telling you, like, he's so good. He has really good instincts for the game. Super raw. He's got incredible wingspan. He's athletic. I think the shot will develop. I think the playmaking will develop. Like, I think he's going to be kind of in like that Scotty Barnes mold at a certain point. Like, I love his game so much.
Zach, how about
I'm a big fan of guys
Pippen?
Parisian Pippen. I like that.
He's so long.
I like that.
Wow. Controls his body. I mean, Jay is a good athlete.
I'm a huge fan of guys who go through late growth spurts.
Sure.
Because they had a guard. They have to learn how to play as a short guy first. And so you get all those tricks, and then once you get tall, you still have the tricks, but you also have the height. I feel like it's a huge advantage to go through a growth spurt late in life. That is one of my theories about.
Or
Anthony Davis, right?
Yeah, Anthony Davis. Or the opposite of that, when maybe
Derek
maybe you've been the same height since the 8th grade, and so you're a post player who had to learn how to be a guard, but you can post up any guard there. Speaking from experience. Hit you with the right hook, the left hook, doesn't matter, and I'll take you out deep. I don't go to the basket anymore, so I won't hit you with the post up anymore. But 15 years ago, it was a torture rack.
The only bad thing is growth on a normal trajectory. You can't have that.
Oh, you can't have that. No. If you have growth on a normal trajectory, you're a bum.
You needed to be 6'5" in the 5th grade. Or grow 10 inches in high school.
Yes. Otherwise,
in order to make it in J. King's scouting report.
College, right? Like that's the real trick of it all. Yeah,
amazing. Pretty amazing. And by the way, we should note with the number 8 pick, Jarace Walker is going to the Indiana.
I love Walker.
Swapping that.
I love him so much.
Swapping that, and then 2 second-round picks are going to the Pacers.
Wow. I love that. I like that for both teams.
That's a good move.
I'm good.
Those are 2 of my favorite prospects.
When that trade discussion is going, though, do you think it's the Pacers are telling Washington, like, hey, man, you better give us those 2 second-round picks, otherwise we're taking Bilal? Like, it's
interesting, right?
When it's the pick right in front of you, I'm always curious. Like, were they really going to take him?
I like the move from Washington, though. If that's your guy, go and get him. I mean, look, they're going to be bad. They're going to be bad. So get your guy. He's 18. You're going to pair him with, everyone's favorite backup point guard because they have the 3 best backup point guards in the league. So, you're not going to win a lot of games. You're likely in the pole position for a top 3 pick next year. Screw it. Go for it, especially on a guy like this.
And also, like, next year's draft might suck by all accounts. We'll see how we feel 6 months from now, but like it might not be that good.
This is the first Wizards move I agree with. It's just kind of that, like, this is the everything they've done leading up to this has been.
You're
really
not a huge
weird.
Jordan Poole guy.
Absolutely not.
But the 2 best moves they had made prior to this, right? Prior to this swap, was getting Tyus Jones, which maybe is only a rental.
1 year.
Yeah. And having the ability to fire Chris Paul. Like, these are the only 2 things that they acquired that are worth a damn. They've got fake pick swaps that don't mean anything, a bunch of second-round picks that probably aren't going to mean anything. You get to pay Jordan Poole $125 million. No, thank you.
I think you out Tyus Jones at the trade deadline, right? And get a pick for him then.
I don't know that I trust them to get picks.
And then Jordan Poole is going to average a lot of points in that situation. He is going to score a whole lot, and somebody's going to be able to sell themselves out of him in a year or 2. And then you
not if it's on really poor efficiency. Not if it's just bad shot after bad shot. Not if he's averaging 7 turnovers or things like that. Like, it's not you're banking on, like, okay, well, maybe next trade deadline we can turn these guys into assets. I don't know if that's the case.
When do we think Michael Winger is going to stop making trades? Because it is 4 trades. He's been here like a week.
Well,
he's missed 4 trades.
He's getting it all in. He's getting it all in now.
Man. He's like, all right, Lawrence Frank was ahead of me in the Clipper. Like, these are the things I want to do.
He's got vacation plans. He is trying to get everything done right now. By June 3rd, he's on a beach in Hawaii.
You only regret the trades you don't make, Zach. I mean, that's true. You might as well do it and get them all out of the way now.
I agree. Look.
Kuzma sign and trade is coming, right? Like, we know it's coming. This guy, this is going to be an NBA 2K start to a Washington Wizards franchise.
Will they get a round pick at that point, or is that not going to be a?
They got one, man. It's a maybe pick from the Warriors in 2030. That
2030 top 20 protected. Like, what are we? Why are we talking about?
Hey,
that?
Listen, that's after Steph Curry. They've also got the Suns. So once Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, once those guys retire. Washington has the league.
I don't know, just something about the way he did it was just incredible. It was like, what do
we think of Jarace Walker to the Pacers? I mean,
that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
It's a great spot. Like him, and if they keep Miles Turner, the 2 of them can make up for anything Mathurin, Halliburton, Buddy Hield, if he's still around. Any of those guys can't do defensively. These 2 will cover up.
Well, that's it.
They were playing Neesmith at power forward a lot last year.
Right.
They needed somebody with size and
An
griminess.
actual NBA
Honestly.
player. That's what they.
I actually thought Taylor Hendricks was kind of the perfect guy.
I did too.
For
Yeah.
Indiana here. I mean, you mentioned Jarace Walker and his defense. I mean, to be able to shoot 40% on catch and shoot threes and to play the sort of rim protecting defense that Hendricks does, I thought that was exactly what Indiana could use. And you don't draft for fit. I think Walker's probably got a higher upside. He's better with the ball in his hands, which is big because Hendricks right now, I don't even trust him to do a straight line drive in the NBA. So, I mean, this guy probably a little bit more ready to step into a rotation role. But I do like the dog mentality with Indy. Indy's going to be good again.
I mean, they would have been, I think, in the play-in tournament if Halliburton doesn't get hurt, right? Like they were on a roll. They looked like a really solid squad, just in that sense. And once that happened, they got hurt. But now they've added another defender in that area. It just sort of helped them in that sense. Everything that you guys were saying, like actually having a backline defense because the front line defense is not very good, like makes a big difference.
Yeah, 26.
Walker has
best defense.
A lot of Bam Adebayo to him. A lot of Bam Adebayo, where he can guard inside, he can guard outside. He's got super quick feet. And then he's got some ball handling, some vision that's probably untapped right now, but there's just a lot there to develop. And I love guys who have like the physicality and athletic traits that you need and defend right away, and then have the beginnings of something else. And I just think he's going to absolutely be a very good NBA defender without a doubt. And if you turn him into a great offensive player, then you might have one of the best players in the league.
So I thought Anthony Black was going to fall to Utah at 9 because I thought someone like Taylor Hendricks was going to go top 7. Taylor Hendricks is now going 9 to Utah. That's a great pickup for Utah.
Oh my God.
That's kind of best case scenario for them, right? Yeah. That's
great
incredible.
Draft.
Like
great. They can do anything else tonight. This is a great draft. Like that's it.
That defense between the two of them covering up the rim, like holy
with Colin
shit.
Sexton out there. I mean, Colin Sexton is.
It'll be like Jared Vanderbilt's back in town.
Yeah, it is. It actually kind of. It's like Vanderbilt has offense attached to it, right? Like he's Taylor Hendricks is good. That's an incredible
feel. You watch the tape of him and you just see him cover distance that there's no way he saw the action happening. Like it's just his defensive feel. He knows, oh wait, this is happening. I need to make this rotation. Reminds me of Miles Turner in some of the blocks that he's gotten. Like gets to stuff he shouldn't, blocks guys at the rim. So he's got some of that toughness. But the biggest thing for me is he is walking in day one. He's going to be a 40% NBA 3-point shooter day one on catch and shoot. His job is going to be easy on offense.
The shot's clean, man.
And it's going to earn him even more playing time because his defense is going to be great. That's a huge pick to get him at 9 for Utah.
Yeah, I thought he would go. I thought he would go 6 or 7 to either Orlando or Indiana. There, like that's a perfect pickup.
Have you felt with any of the picks that we have so far, since we're talking about him dropping to 9? Have you felt like the other 8, obviously the top couple with, like, if you felt like anybody was, I think Bilal was maybe a little bit of a reach, but it makes sense for Washington.
Not to me, but like, yes. So like in the grand scheme of things, like he should have gone 2 if you're asking me, but I think Anthony Black is maybe a little bit of a stretch. I get why Orlando did it. I think him at 6 is like, I think that's a little high, but I get it. Especially if you think he can be a lead guard at the NBA level, then it's like kind of what Jay was saying was like, this is just a big team.
Was there a reason why Jay waved to the camera?
I was just waving hello to Suichi.
Okay. Give us what's the scene? Paint the scene here.
Turn the camera around.
How many people are you bothering?
Right now, I try to get into a corner to bother as few people as possible. But
you being there, I think, fails.
There's a pizza party going on. Media members.
Whoa! All right, where's the pizza
So I'm sitting at a table
kind of
with
pizza?
2 other.
Yeah, what
two
kind
other
of
media
pizza?
Members,
What do we
Taylor
got?
Snow with Celtics.com standing right near me, kind of
Offering
hovering over
pizza.
my shoulder a little bit.
Go for it. Offering pizza. That's nice.
Can we get a taste test?
What is that?
Whole pizza.
Is that Hawaiian?
I'm not going to eat his crust.
It looked like there was some pineapple on there.
Which I'm a fan. I'm good with that.
I approve of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
so
great
Sweet and
it's a
salty.
great
I am
mixture.
absolutely
Yeah.
irritating a lot of people right now, but there's nothing I could do.
That would have been
On
with
the- on
you
this-
without
on
the
this show as
podcast. Without the podcast, you walked into the war room. You didn't think they were annoyed right away. Like,
No, I think they were happy to see me.
okay.
By the way, according to David Aldridge, Wizards will send one of the 6 future second-round picks they're getting from Phoenix and one of their own future seconds to the Pacers to move up for
Bradley
Coulibaly.
Beal turned into Bradley Beal turned into him.
Yeah,
Are you
now it's a good-
are
now
you
it's a good
shifting
deal.
your thoughts?
I wanna
Zach,
say-
you gotta go
Now
change
it's the
trade
steal
grade.
of the century.
You gotta
Now
go change
A
trade
plus, A
Now,
plus
Zach,
plus.
We've been crapping on this Wizards the trades, right?
Yeah.
But as this plays out, it has gotten better for them as they've gone along. I don't think this was the
get much
plan.
worse.
Whoa.
I don't
Could
think
get
it was.
much worse.
Listen,
Whoa.
it's been
Low
some
bar.
hard work on their part, but they have.
I mean, really hard work.
No,
really
no.
hard work.
We're not doing this though. We're not giving them any credit
I don't
until they
know.
get a first round pick. Until they
traded-
make a trade where they get a first round pick that
Look,
actually is a first round
they
pick and
just
not
got-
a fake one.
They just got the greatest French prospect of all time, okay? In Bilal Coulibaly. Let's just say what it is right now.
Boris Diaw deserves more than that.
Tony
He does.
Parker would like a word.
No, you just wait 25 years and then you'll see that this guy is going to break every
A
record out there.
25-year career.
25 years, you get back to me on this one and we'll see who was right, okay?
If we're still doing draft shows.
He was the
25
star of the
years.
I
Metro.
need that clip.
Holy
I need that.
crap.
clip.
I'll take
Just in
the
case.
job security, man. Are you kidding me? I'll take that for sure.
I'll do the show 25 years from now. But Bilal Jr. in
Yeah.
the draft, we're gonna take him first.
And Bilal's gonna be like, whoever drafts my kid, I'll sign there.
That's
Is
Yeah.
He's LeBron now.
Yeah, better.
is
He's
Cam
the front-
Whitmore? I got to change it to Cam Whitmore.
yeah. We
He's-
got to talk to Cam.
He's
about
dropped.
Cam.
So
Is he undervalued at this point? Like, has he?
I think the
injured somebody. Like, what
I
is
think the
going on
question
with
is
Cam Whitmore?
why has he dropped? Right? You had people saying like he's a top 3 prospect, he's top 4, he could go 4, he could go 5, and then over the last week and a half or so, I've just heard like he's dropping, like to the point where yesterday or the day before, this is what shocked me. I'm like, okay, he'll drop to like 8 or something like that, right? And then yesterday, I was told by a couple of people like his agent is now talking to Dallas. I think. Look, this is me assuming. All I heard was his agent's talking to Dallas, but that's me assuming like maybe the agent's like, you guys should draft my guy, right? I don't know if there's anything there. We'll see what the pick is for Dallas and if they even keep it. But Cam falling, it's kind of extreme, right? Like this is a dude that's supposed to be a top 5 pick.
Right.
I feel like evaluators move past just the highlights and then watch the
All you
actual
need is the
film.
highlights, man. Are you kidding me? That dude's a
They're like,
bucket.
oh, this dude drives into traffic a lot. He seems to enjoy seeking out double teams.
You know who else
He's
drives
not
into
really-
traffic? Dom Toretto. That
Oh.
franchise has made billions of dollars.
Why
we
is
have
he
a trade?
all these highlights only with his left hand?
Oh, we got a trade.
We
What's the trade, Mo?
Shams is saying Oklahoma City is acquiring Cason Wallace from
Cason.
Dallas at
Cason Wallace, yeah.
from Dallas at number 10. So they got the 10th pick. So we got to find out who's going to Dallas.
I love Wallace, by the way.
What
I
are we
love
guessing
Wallace.
the trade is? Like who on? Oh wait,
Could-
there we go.
Davis
Davis
Bertans. Oh, so
Okay.
interesting.
that's a
I mean, it gets
salary
off that money.
Yeah.
Jump.
Which OKC, that's good for them. But this, I mean, Dallas needs players. So
and
Bertans and
number
Holmgren
10
are going to be
pick.
the most
number
emaciated
10
front
pick.
court in
I
the league.
love that analysis.
like
Dallas
the number,
needs
this is like the number 10 pick, man. Like, was there one piece that they had to get players?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about Oklahoma City, and
I was like, did you find a way to get Lou Dort or something? Instead, it's a salary dump. Like taking out of the playoffs, out of the play-in tournament to secure the 10th pick, and then turn that into a salary dump.
Well, we
has to be
got to
more.
see what
Okay.
they're sending 12 and a
12
player
and it-
exception to Dallas as part of the trade. Goodness, man. I mean, I guess
mean,
I don't know.
how about taking the better player at number 10? I don't know, man. This is obviously this will be the first part of what is hopefully multiple dominoes for the Dallas Mavericks, who have this generational talent and no one to play with them. I'm confused.
Okay, so they still have the 12th pick, so they moved down 2 spots, right? Like we don't have to completely
crush.
You know,
yeah. I mean, we'll see what they do with the 12th pick.
Yeah, and maybe they're moving that. Like, but that's
they moved that to get off Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract. Like,
maybe, it's just down to 14.
Down to the draft and get off contracts. Like that would be the best.
By the way,
like, hey,
both of whom were part of Porzingis trades. They're still feeling.
We're still look. We've kind of done it already over the year or two. We killed the Knicks for that Porzingis trade, and I think at the time, rightfully so, because it looked like a bad trade.
I had a tweet that people still bring up to this day.
Really,
it's like
what was
every month or so, I tweeted something about how it was the worst decision in the world by New York, and it was awful, and it would never look good. And people,
by the way,
still quote tweet it like every time.
Today, Jay was talking about how his track record is impeccable.
Yeah, no. Jay has a memory of a goldfish. Like that's it. Like,
just with the bad stuff, man.
Impeccable. Absolutely impeccable.
I've never been wrong that I've acknowledged.
I gotta find that tweet because it was bad. It was bad enough people still go back. It's probably the one tweet of mine that gets just brought up every month or so.
Yeah. I had one. I'll tell you my bad one. My bad one was from I think it was back in 2009, maybe 2010, in which I had heard Bob Fitzgerald on the radio, the Warriors play-by-play announcer, talking about how and this is the rookie season of the two guys, how Steph Curry was better than Tyreek Evans and blah blah blah, and I was like, that's embarrassing. And that one got retweeted a lot for a while, man, especially around 2014, 2015. That one was rough on the timeline for me.
I mean, the draft picks in general they last forever.
Yeah.
And then it's just we're guessing on 18 and 19-year-olds. But don't worry, Zach. Bilal is going to work out just fine.
Man, look, he's the best player in the draft.
Hey,
I've now moved him up. Number
best
one.
Frenchman ever. Best Frenchman ever was what was said earlier.
Yeah. Should we talk about what Oklahoma City just pulled off?
I like.
Yeah, he's a really solid player. I like the idea of him next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's a nice backcourt.
Good backcourt.
My other theory beyond the growth spurt theory is that Kentucky guards are always worth drafting because Calipari just hides what they can do best at school.
Absolutely.
There is one other skill we don't know that he has where we're all of a sudden going to be like,
oh God. It's like, oh wow, he's got a 90% hook shot from half court. Cal didn't let that happen. Yeah.
I knew this guy had good IQ. I knew he could defend. I did not know he could do all that off the bounce. Why was he standing in the corner so often?
What were the Karl Anthony Towns being able to shoot? He wasn't allowed to shoot jumpers at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Devin Booker
running
pick and rolls. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to do pick and roll. And it's why? What are you doing?
That's wild coaching, by the way.
But Tyrese Maxey's another one. Tyler Hero, another one.
He's a great recruiter. He is a bad coach.
That's college basketball.
Yeah.
I will say this though. He's great at getting awesome recruits to buy into a team concept. And sometimes that is absolutely to the detriment of his team.
Yeah.
And he should just let those awesome players be awesome.
Well, hold on though. It depends on what your goal is, right? If your goal is to develop players, then you have them being experimental. But if you're John Calipari, they're development matters, sure, but you want to win. So at a certain point, it's hey, I can teach this kid how to do this thing, or he's already really good at this thing. Let's have him do that. If we spam this thing, we can just win. And I think that's what it is. So it's more about putting them in all right, I've got this system that works. I know you can do this thing. I don't need you to do this other thing to win. So let's just do it this way. So, but I'm with you. I'd rather see these guys just go out there and cook.
He's a winner, though, Wallace. He's a winner. He can really guard. He's tough. He's smart. I love the way he plays. I think if there is an ex-Kentucky boost, they might get a stud there.
Right.
They might get a stud there.
I mean, look, honestly, defensively, number one, that team is already full of defensive dogs. I mean, this is like a real thing. I think that as a backup guard, playing next to Shea,
not even that. Like put him with Giddey.
Yeah.
You know, defensively, just having him out there with Giddey on the floor when Shea goes to the bench. Like, I think this is a great pick. I like what OKC's doing so far. I like the way they're kind of building going forward. This is going to be an exciting season for them. And then we'll see if Jay's guy, Chet Holmgren's going to be better than Wembanyama.
I mean, so we talk all the time about...
He will not, but he's going to be very good.
We talk all the time about connectors, and he's kind of a defensive connector. A little bit like Alex Caruso. I think this sort of glue guy to tie your stuff together. I mean, this could be big. Question marks come on the other end. You know, will he be able to score enough? Will he be able to shoot well enough? You know, he's an okay shooter from what we saw in college, but you never know for sort of middle of the road 3-point shooters, what they're going to look like when they get to the NBA. Just having more guards. I mean, it's a guard run league at this point. So having more guards is always a good thing.
Especially a tough one. He's going to be able to guard up. He's going to be able to handle the ball a little bit. He's going to do a little bit of everything. I'm a real big fan of his.
Yeah, I like this one. Shams is reporting that Jett Howard is going to Orlando.
I was just about to say, I mean, it's not official yet, but it does seem like the Orlando Magic are going to take Jett Howard from Michigan. 6'8", another. I mean, all right, Orlando has a type. I mean, it just let's get every guy that's 6'7" to 6'11".
This is
do stuff.
Hammond. This is like what he did in Milwaukee. Like this is just I'm going to get long guys, and that's kind of his deal there. They got a shooter though. They got a guy that can knock down shots. Something that we were just kind of killing them for in that sense. I mean, they got somebody that's going to be able to spread the floor a little bit for the guys and open up opportunities. I think this is an interesting pick there.
I'm not the biggest Jett Howard fan.
I'm not at 11, but that's a different story.
I don't see it, but maybe he'll be good. I don't know. This is probably my first pick that I'm like, I don't really love this, which could mean I'm just a moron.
This could no. Well, I mean, both things can be true. This is the one though. I think this is the first one where I'm with you, where I just kind of think like, yeah, this one might have been too high. I think if that was who you wanted, maybe you could have traded down a little bit and found him elsewhere and gotten some assets on the way down.
But hey, look, he is going to shoot. The upside is that he's a 6'8" dude who puts up high volume three-point attempts and hit him at a pretty high rate when he was at Michigan. So there's a lot of upside there, and he's another guy who will fit right in, be a huge dude with skills on their team. So I guess I see it. He would not have been my favorite prospect at this point of the draft.
Yeah, it's tricky, but 6'8", I can shoot like crazy, and Orlando needs that. They also, I think they could use. I mean, they could use a lot of stuff. They could use another guard, for instance. I mean, maybe there was a guy. Maybe they had an eye on Cason Wallace, and he just didn't make it to them, and this is their pivot. I'm not sure. I don't know.
They do love guards. They love guards who can't shoot.
There is definitely a moment.
Cole Anthony.
But there's definitely moments in draft war rooms when the guy you wanted to pick gets selected before you, and you're like, what do we do now?
All right, so we've got Dallas coming up, making Oklahoma City's pick at number 12. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's
going to be Grady Dick.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was just thinking it's going to be Grady Dick at this point.
Chet, Bertans, and Dick will just be the most emaciated front court.
This pick's going to Dallas.
Yeah, it's going to go to
Dallas.
Oh,
my bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
But I still think it's going to be Grady Dick.
Dick would still work. And I think he would fit really well next to Luka as probably the best shooter in the draft and a shooter with size and length. I don't think he's the best defender at this stage, but he knows how to play defense, and he's typically in the right spot. He just needs to get stronger and tougher and choose a different suit next time he's at a big event.
Is there anyone you guys would go with?
Oh my goodness. He looks like he's straight out of Night at the Roxbury.
I can't take him seriously. I would drop him out of the first round.
He looks like those idiots from Dude, Where's My Car? Like
this is like if Elton John remade The Matrix is really what I'm looking at right here. John remade The Matrix. Look, I understand that these guys all make a lot of money, but it's very important to have people around you to let you know when you're wearing something like this. Do
you think Tyler Hero is watching this? Like, man, Grady Dick looks stupid tonight. Grady Dick.
No, he's like,
Tyler Hero's like, why does he have a
bucket hat on? Yeah, he's
like, where's
tie the whole
at?
outfit together. I mean, I
think the more important thing for Dallas, I think the real thing for me in the draft is, go get somebody that could defend. And Shams just tweeted it out. I
like Jett Howard's suit is solid. Not too flashy, but still unique enough. I like how he dressed. I might be changing my opinion of him as a prospect.
It looks like
just based on how he's dressed.
And Shams just reported that the Dallas is going to take Dereck Lively, which is, that's a big move. The Mavs have needed an athletic true big for a while. Powell's just coming back from the Achilles injury, just hasn't quite been himself. While he's been pretty good, has not actually been as good as he was pre-injury, obviously. What do you guys think about picking up a big for Dallas?
Lively's physically impressive. Like, he's got rare gifts defensively that he could be great on that end of the court. So I'm a fan. They just need a lot more talent. Like, they need a whole lot more talent. I like the potential fit of him with Luka. I like the idea of Luka with a rim runner and a defender next to him, an athletic guy, but they just need so much work on that rod. Like, they're so far away from having the type of supporting cast they need.
I've said this a lot, and this is something the Wizards need to watch out for now that they have Coulibaly in there. If you're too good too fast with a great guy that you get in the draft, it can also be a problem. And this is where we go back to the Porzingis trade. Mm-hmm. They said, hey, Luka's too good. We got to get a guy. Let's go for it.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing the Wizards have to worry about is when Coulibaly leads you to the conference finals next season. Like, now you're out of the draft pick range, right? Like, that's the issue. So I'll let you guys in. I had to run and take my dog out for a little bit. I have no idea what happened because I forgot my phone in my apartment. And so I was just out there waiting for this dog to do what he needed to do and walked back in. And I guess Jett Howard went to the Magic and Lively went to the Thunder / now the Mavericks because of the trade.
Yes. You're now officially caught up.
I think Jett Howard, I think that's a bit of a reach, but I get it. Like,
I don't get it.
I think that they wanted Cason Wallace. I think
his father had a good career though. Had a solid career.
I was a little concerned when they went through the Jett Howard highlights and then immediately went to Juwan Howard highlights. I'm like, well, okay, I don't know if that's
never a good sign. When they go straight to your dad, that's always the issue.
But Dereck Lively, like, I'm actually shocked he went this low. I thought he was a guaranteed top 10 pick.
You are shocked that everyone's dropping, but you don't have anyone who's
no. Jett Howard. Jett Howard was the one.
Jett Howard.
Jett Howard.
I thought they were both, a little bit of a reach. But
Cam Whitmore is, dropping, like, man, just nose diving.
When, like, because then I told you guys earlier that there was, like, I had heard talks with his agent in Dallas, and then I asked, like, well, he's not going to, like, drop the end of the lottery.
Do they have a second round pick?
it got like a maybe, and I just thought, well, this is just smoke screens. This is just BS, right? But here we are. We're at pick 13 now, coming in, and
crazy.
And that's like, he's still on the board, and that's someone with a ton. Like, for Lively, I had heard like a lot of teams wanted to trade up and try to get him.
Right.
Because just the physical presence, the defensive capabilities, what they think you can turn him into on offense. I like the pick for Dallas. I kind of wish they were getting the Dereck Lively 4 years from now on this current team because, Jay's right. Like, they need players. Dave, you said it. They need players, but I mean, a rookie big man is not really that guy unless he's just at least, capable defensively. Like maybe he is another Walker Kessler who can come in and play defense pretty well as a rookie. Like I don't know.
I think the other thing too with the Mavs trade, and this is kind of being put out there on Twitter, they get the $17 million trade exemption, but more importantly, they also get the use of the full mid-level this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the trade and getting off some of that money. So that's going to help them get players. I mean, that's going to be that's going to help them try to chase down some of these guys to get some more veteran talent, at least in that sense.
If players want to go there.
Well, that's
been a problem with Dallas and free agency in the past, right?
Forever, right? Like that's been their issue.
Yeah.
But I think it opens up the opportunity though too, where I don't think a lot of good teams have a ton of cap space. So, hey, if you want to at least have a chance and make a little bit of a run, you can try it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an important caveat to the move that they made is going to sort of help them, not just getting lively, but I think getting that cap relief.
It's crazy how bad a position they are in organizationally, considering they have Luka Doncic.
Well, because they've made every wrong move since then.
Every wrong move.
But
They made a shitload
how
of
badly
wrong
they
moves
screwed it up
before that, and then after that. But that was the good move they made.
That was the one good move they made.
Jalen Brunson was on your team. You had him there. You saw how good he was. You saw how well he fit next to Luka.
Extension. You could have signed him to a cheap extension.
They
let's trade it all for Kyrie.
At a certain point, his dad coaches for the Knicks.
Oh no!
No.
But this was before. They could have signed him to cheap.
Yeah,
they could have signed
you're
him
right.
for half.
Yeah, for
at
sure.
The start of that year, like that. At the
sure.
very least, you're like, hey, that's at least a movable contract. Worst case scenario.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm not saying any tampering happened, but obviously there was some tampering that happened. We don't have
to play kayfabe. Nobody's calling me, checking my text messages.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
I don't care. They tamper. I mean, like they hired his dad. I mean, like this was. I don't know, man. I pretend on the Mavs pod. I don't have to pretend on this pod. Like that was over. It was over a long time ago. All the stuff Cuban said about not having a chance is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean,
I never should have let it get there, though.
But why did it get there?
I agree with that too.
They took away all their chances ahead of time. They had all these chances ahead of time,
but when you look, though, all right. So a rookie big man, I'm sorry, if he's playing in competitive minutes for them this season, this is going to be a lost season. Period. Yeah. Like, I mean, this is a project. You hope he's going to be able to defend without fouling out. Like he can catch lobs. He's not going to space the floor for you. You're running into a very similar situation where it's like, okay, maybe he's better than Dwight Powell, but not day one. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not going to displace Maxi Kleber because you need that floor spacing and Maxi's defense.
But maybe you can play them together. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be offensively. I mean, I guess I don't know what he's going to be defensively either. Like people are very high on him, but that doesn't mean he can play right away.
Yeah.
But it is a good pickup. Like to get off the Bertans deal to still get a guy that was highly coveted at 12. That's a good move.
I mean, let me ask you this question: is he better than JaVale McGee right now?
I mean, I hope so.
I would hope so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's one of their guys. That's who they were starting. Like, I mean, that's their next option at center. Like, it's kind of what they had to do.
We've got the JaVale truther.
I'm just saying this. Listen, I'd rather play a guy like if I'm a team trying to compete, and you're saying I get JaVale or a rookie center, I'm probably going to choose JaVale. The rookie center has higher upside for sure, and he's like for many reasons. But it's just this team at this moment. Now, maybe they've just decided we got to pause for 2 years and collect assets, which, hey, but you probably should have already done that.
Yeah. Now, just to inform people, Dave is getting a call from Steve Kerr to join his coaching staff after saying he would take JaVale over a rookie center.
He's already signed the contract.
He's already joining.
He's already in.
Farewell show.
Just wait until I come up with the idea.
Dave will not
Chris
be allowed
Paul
to comment. They will not be allowed
JaVale had
to
some years.
comment on the 19th pick when the Warriors make it. But yes,
Can't tamper.
JaVale had some years, man. He has
yeah,
some
but they
years.
were a while
when
ago.
When they signed JaVale, I was optimistic. I really
thought
was.
I'll admit, I thought it was a good signing. Like in
I
terms
did
of
too. I
like
thought it would
bringing
be
him in
perfect.
for
Except
depth.
for the contract.
Yeah,
I thought-
yeah. The contract
yeah.
wasn't great, but I like the presence at least in like year 1, year 2. You know, a 3-year deal for JaVale. Good agent. What can you do? You know, I guess not sign him.
All right. So should we talk? Toronto's on the clock. So let's talk about Toronto because they've got stuff happening. Zach, are they going to trade OG or what? Like,
So I think we got ourselves a John Collins situation with OG Anunoby in the Raptors. I think he's just gonna be on the block for like 8 years, and it's always gonna be like it's gonna be the annual time of like, you know what, Raptors taking calls on OG Anunoby. I don't know. Like I know that they tried to trade up for number 2 or number 3. From what I heard, and you know, take this for what it's worth, like Pascal, and this was reported earlier on a broader sense by I think Chris Haynes or I can't remember who it was, but that Pascal is not looking to sign long term. Like he wants to stay with the Raptors. He is not looking to trade and then agree to like an extension. I know that was a hindrance in the talks with Portland. Outside of that, I think the Raptors are going to be one of those teams too, where it's like they should not necessarily tear it all down and rebuild. I think you can kind of do a fast retooling with them, but that's a team where I think they're going to be too worried about it. Like Fred VanVleet leaving kind of helps some of this stuff. I think maybe they thought Gary Trent Jr. was going to test the free agent market. He decides to opt in for a year. I don't know where that goes from there, but yeah, like they probably should be exploring these trades for anybody on the team outside of Scotty Barnes.
It's harder to trade those guys now, though, because they're both going into expiring contracts.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so OG, Pascal, Chris Hayes reported today that he wants to stay in Toronto and will not re-sign wherever he goes, basically nuking his trade value, doing whatever he can to try to stay there.
I don't know that a Portland deal was going to happen. I know that stopped a Portland conversation from continuing to happen.
Right.
Yeah, and
what's the point of that?
Right.
The thing about Toronto is, honestly, I thought their biggest issue last year was just they had no depth. Their top guys were all pretty good.
I mean,
they had no depth. They started Juancho Hernan-Gomez sometimes. Their bench was just bad.
There's no way that's true. Hold on, I gotta fact check that.
Check how many starts Juancho
they could
had.
not have done
check
that.
how many starts Juancho had. But they had no centers whatsoever.
He started 10 games last year?
They had no depth whatsoever. They had like 4 players. Legitimately 4 players.
Oh, I mean, Nurse was burning these dudes out. They were playing like crazy minutes in the regular season, 38, 39 on a regular basis. Like it was too much on these guys.
Once they got Pirtle, a real center, to play with their 4 real players, they were good. They were really good with Pirtle on the court. So I wouldn't be so quick to just discard this group.
Do we think like they're locked to re-sign Pirtle?
I would guess so, just because they paid up to get him. That's
and they have the history there, right? Like,
and he was really good for them. Like, there's no reason
he was
or anything like that.
I honestly think Masai and Bobby Webster kind of screwed them a little bit with the whole like we're going with whatever was Vision 6'9" or Project 6'9", whatever they're trying to do when they're trying to add all these duplicate skills on the court and thinking it was going to all work out for them. And then it's like Jay said, once they added a center, all right, now it made a little more sense with what they were trying to do, and they were a little bit better in that sense. But the other thing, too, is Nick Nurse wasn't very good as a coach this year.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been for a while, and I think that's one of the things, too. I think Toronto's going through
You hate Nick Nurse.
He really
hates
does.
a strong word.
He really does.
Yeah.
Hates a strong word. But I don't think he's a very good coach. I think he's gotten way too much. I think he's the new Doc Rivers. He's going to skate on this Toronto Raptors championship for a very long time.
Wow.
What bothers you the most about Nick Nurse this
His
past
logo.
season, or the past few seasons?
Oh, the logo hat thing was the whole thing, and that was during the finals. But like the honest truth is, I think he's a very good defensive coach. I think we give him too much credit in terms of being this whole genius, and he's a top 5 coach and all that stuff. I think it's a little bit fool's gold. I think it's just him skating on the fact, hey, I won a championship. and we're good now. Everything they've done since then, coaching wise, has not been very impressive. They haven't put him in an offensive system, hasn't put the guys in the right spots, and things like that. I think altogether, it's just he's a bit overrated.
That team that they won a championship with too was just so high IQ.
It was
like they did not need too much.
Kawhi Leonard was,
but besides him, it was Lowry, it was Gasol, it was Van Vliet, and Anunoby. Like they were just loaded with guys.
If the Warriors win Game 6, I don't think the Raptors win the championship.
Grady Dick is did he know he was going to the Raptors with the color of this jacket sequence turtleneck thing happening? Because speaking of bad logos,
that suit is so
I mean, come on, man.
awful.
That's BJ from Righteous Gemstones. Like that. I know the joke was made 1,000 times today. That's who that is.
So
I'm
bad.
honestly like, I'm embarrassed for him.
That's Bulls fan Tim Bumps. Like that's who that is.
Him. I doubt him as a human because of that outfit.
That's so bad. So bad.
That's that, man. Like that's Seth.
I feel attacked that I'm getting brought on right as you guys are talking about the Raptors 2019 championship.
That is bad timing.
That's
like what's the problem with that? Like, the Raptors were just a good team. They dominated towards the end of that playoff run, and they're just great.
Yeah.
Do you still get nightmares of Fred VanVleet shooting 90% from 3?
Do you get like a trigger warning whenever you find out like someone's expecting a child? You're just like, oh no, they're gonna become a 60% shooter from deep.
It hurts. It still hurts. It does.
Hey Seth, what's been your favorite pick of this draft so far? Not Wembanyama related, and what's been the worst pick of this draft so far for you?
I mean, my favorite is Portland getting Scoot. I still don't really know if they're going to end up keeping him or moving him along, but I think he's just in terms of that potential to be that kind of top 5 player that you need. Brandon Miller has the tools to be a nice player. I think Scoot Henderson has the tools to be a all NBA type player, and so obviously. Getting the better half of that exchange. I don't know. Jett Howard felt like a bit of a reach at 11.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess another one is I think that I don't know if you and Jay are familiar with my guys as a concept, but there's sort of a mid-sized do-it-all forward type that Kenrich Williams is sort of the avatar of it, and Jarace Walker has extreme Seth Sky's potential. So that I do like that one. And like pairing him with Hallie is like, it's a lot of things I like. A lot of high feel.
It's the opposite of the Raptors championship run, right? Jesus. Well, it's he's talking about.
Let the guy live.
He's like,
let him live.
I'm just trying to put into context for everyone. I'm just, I'm pulling it all together, guys. That's all I'm doing. It's a callback to a conversation we were having. It's not a big deal. We'll move on. This just awful fruit by the foot that has fallen on a factory floor suit that Grady Dick is wearing. What do we think of him as a player? Joining this Raptors team that could not make shots last year, like just absolutely couldn't make a jumper to save their life, couldn't make a 2-pointer to save their life, and now they get one of the best, if not the best, outside shooters in the draft. This guy. That's.
I'm hardly someone who should be confused with the fashion consultant, but I've been amused.
I think you're safe on this one.
I mean, he looks like he came out of a Lady Gaga video, and I forget who else it was. There's someone else who's in the green.
He looks like Britney Spears from Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That's better. Yeah. I don't know. Like if he makes shots, it's great. If he doesn't make shots, it's not. Shooting is, there's a lot of can't miss shooters who have missed a lot of shots in the NBA. So if it works, great. If it, and we're getting to the point of the draft where it's usually about a 50-50 proposition anyway. So in terms of what Toronto needs, if he turns into what they think he can be, it's great.
I love the analysis of if it works, great.
I do love that analysis. That's it's like earlier when Dave said the Mavericks need players. It's also accurate, right? If it works, great. If not, then you move on.
Well, no, I mean, they didn't draft another like 6'9" like playmaker type who, if he turns into the player they think he is going to be just duplicative. It's like if this works, it gives them what they need. Right. And it like I said, we're if you can think you can reliably tell which guy from like the teens is going to hit and which are going to bust, like, you're doing better than 20 years of NBA front offices.
Ooh, I love this pick coming up.
Yeah,
one of my guys, man. The only guy who could beat San Diego State last year, Jordan Hawkins from UConn, going 14 to the Pelicans. This guy might actually be the best shooter in the draft. I love Jordan Hawkins. That is one of the most effortless shots I've seen since Seth Partnow was jacking up jumpers at a summer league run. Like, this is just an absolute bomber. I love Jordan Hawkins.
You're forgiven for the Raptors assault now. So
wow, that's all it took.
But there's more coming. Though.
I mean, you don't understand. He took 7 shots at you. One compliment. You're supposed to be the efficiency guy.
Look, man, I walked in that gym. I saw Seth. I was like, all right, like, he looks like he can handle the ball a little bit. This dude pulled up from like 30 out of nowhere, like maybe in transition, knocked it cold. And I was like, okay, this guy, I don't want him on my team because I want the ball, but I like watching this guy play basketball. That's the Seth Partnow experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm retired. I'm retired now, so it's sadly it's a show that's moved on. As this show should move on from, because we shouldn't be talking about me.
I'm talking about Jordan Hawkins being a hell of a shooter and his fit in New Orleans. Again, just more stretch the floor stuff. They got enough. I mean, assuming Zion's healtty, I think they got a lot.
That's quite an assumption.
That's I don't know if we can play that game anymore. If assuming Zion's healthy, I'm kind of approaching it instead. I wonder what you think about this. Like, I just approach the Pelican situation now of like, let's evaluate this team without Zion. And then if he gets added to it, great. But I just don't know how you trust it in that kind of scenario. And I don't know what you do from a front office standpoint when you have that.
I was very intrigued by the sort of the third pick for Zion stuff that it got talked a lot about leading up to the draft. Because like you said, I mean, you're just sort of in this limbo of you can pick players that you can build around him with. I think the players you would want to build around a team where Brandon Ingram is your best player. First of all, I don't know how actually good you are if Brandon Ingram's your best player, but they're just very different players. And so they're kind of stuck with a lot of guys who are very interesting next to Zion, and then all sort of get in each other's way if they maybe need a little more creation. And I still kind of like, they have so many wings. Like I feel like they're in a great trade position situation just because they've got so many like interesting, like, Najee Marshall is like their 5th wing now. And I think he's a good player who could be a playoff rotation guy for somewhere. So
Dyson Daniels is that dude.
I mean, they could trade Trey Murphy. Herb Jones had a tough rookie second year, but they've so many dudes like that it just sorting out which of them they think are going forward, and if they can do something to sort of rebalance the roster, maybe get some size, maybe get a little bit better in the backcourt by rebalancing a little bit. But how do you do that if you don't know what your team is going to hang its hat on, which is, I think, what you're getting at with the Zion situation.
Yeah. I mean, even last year, this was one of the best offenses in the league. Like they've got a lot of shooting. They've got a lot of guys who can score, but do you have that balance when it comes down to the playoffs, right? When you get to the postseason, Jay, like there has to be some, and you just can't have $30 million plus locked up in a dude who you have no idea if he's going to play one season to the next, 1 month to the next,
Yeah, that's what makes it really hard. Is your whole franchise is built around a guy who has not been able to stay on the court at all. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, it's not just that he's been unlucky, it's also questions about his approach to getting in shape, his approach to trying to prevent injuries and come back from injuries and all of that. So they're kind of in limbo right now. At the same time, when he has played, he's been beyond special. Yeah. Like the last full month he played, I think he averaged 30 on 63% shooting. And scored like 23 points per game in the paint, which is just insane. So
he gets to the rim at a 50% higher rate than anybody in sort of the modern era of the NBA.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like if you look at like the amount of shots that Giannis takes at the rim, divide it by 2 and add it, that's where Zion is when he's on the floor.
That's nuts.
Bonkers. It's bonkers.
I don't remember Giannis not taking shots at the rim at this point. Like
I thought that's all he does.
Yeah.
But I thought, the thing with Zion is I think he kind of falls into just Embiid, the Embiid category, even all the way to the questions of his, work ethic and everything like that. And what's he eating? And remember the whole Shirley Temples thing and stuff like that with Embiid and so on. And I think he's played more games than Embiid had at this point in his career. And I think this is one of those things. If he can just find a way, if the Pelicans can find a way to get him right in this situation, I think they're going to be an unbelievable team. I mean, they were nuts. They were really good at the start of the season, and then it wasn't just his injury. They had Ingram goes down, McCollum goes down, and then they just plummet right then and there. I think
isn't that the Pelicans?
What did I say?
No, but I'm saying like that's just the Pelicans and like that's year to year. It's these guys went down, this guy went down.
Right. Well, then you got to start looking at the training staff. I don't want to start firing people.
But they brought in like the best of the best allegedly, and that's still like didn't. I don't know.
Of the best.
I'm just going off what people were saying when Griff went there. Like it's, I don't know.
I think we've seen enough of Anthony Davis post New Orleans to say that it might not have been the training staff.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's. All right, we've got the 15th pick coming in. Kobe Bufkin from Michigan heading to the Atlanta Hawks.
You sounded like you had fun saying that name.
I just like that's a fun last name, man. Like it could be Carl Bufkin for all I care. Like I just like saying Bufkin. I like the idea of him. I don't know that I am all in on him, and I do think this is a bit of a weird fit for Atlanta, even though they're probably going to move as many configurations of players who aren't Trae Young off this team to kind of reconfigure what that is.
I'm with you. I like him, but I don't like him in Atlanta. I don't think this is a good spot for him. I think Atlanta itself, I think, needs to figure out what they want to be as a team in general. And I think that's the hard thing. And it starts with Trae, because I don't think you could win with the style that Trae plays. And I think, we're going to find out what Quinn Snyder wants to do and how he's going to move forward with that. I think I like this team better without Trae. I like I like their run better when Trae's off the court and those guys. DeJounte Murray pushes the ball. I think they get more stuff from John Collins and everything like that. We have to see what they're going to be. Is this going to be the year they finally trade John Collins? Probably not. But like this is just a weird pick for me for what they did. Like I just don't think he fits their squad.
They're never going to trade John Collins.
Never.
It's never going to happen.
He's going
to have to walk away. Like
it's been grandfathered in from the first CVA to this one. Like it's.
They have so many. Oh, go ahead.
No, at the same time, we've said this for players who play. We've said this for Luka. We've said this for James Harden, whoever else. That pairing him with another backcourt guy and balancing that out a little bit. If the player will do it, it is potentially very dynamic and very valuable. And we saw a little bit of it with Cleveland this year, where, but all right, Darius Garland, again, deserves a lot of credit for willingly, kind of sharing, touches in the ball with Donovan Mitchell. But you're looking for the best case scenario, and is a best case scenario Trae being better able and willing to play off ball and kind of share a little bit? Yeah, maybe. So on that front, maybe you're planning for success almost. If you wanted to like squint and say this is kind of the thinking behind it.
I'm higher than most on the Hawks. Maybe it's just seeing them in a playoff series, but
I think when you saw which playoff series we
like the Boston series,
Quinn Snyder has a vision there. They're going to shoot a ton more threes. They're going to play fast. They're going to surround Trey with shooting, and I think that offense could be unbelievable the way they're trying to play. Okongwu is awesome. He's going to be a problem. I think Collins is actually pretty good, and guys like him who are
I love John Collins,
6'9", strong and athletic. Yeah,
love.
I spent all last season trying to trade John Collins, trying to fake trade John Collins.
I can confirm he's been
20
trying
teams.
to trade John Collins everywhere.
Are all of them in the NBA?
The Hawks have been trying to do the same thing. To be fair,
yeah, they've also been trying to figure out.
Have they called you, Seth?
Yeah, but they've been like saying, "Well, give us 3 first rounders," and it's like, come on, like,
yeah.
They're asking for an OG Anunoby haul for him, and that hasn't happened yet either.
OG Anunoby's not getting the OG Anunoby.
Yeah, exactly.
Haul.
The only way this can end is if OG gets traded for John Collins. It's the only way that those two situations can resolve each other. We have Keyonte George going to Utah. I love the look of his game. I've never seen him make a shot, not once. Even the 37% or whatever he shot from the field seems high to me because I never saw one go in. But he looks like a player. I just don't know what you do. And look, Baylor's a mess anyway, so I don't know what you do with that. But like Keyonte George to Utah, kind of a weird pick to me. But
you're not the only one who's never seen Keyonte George hit a shot. Because
most people
he shot less than 38% from the field.
Yeah, it was a rough one for him. In terms of making that. Did the lights just go out?
Yeah, the lights just went out in the Celtics practice facility.
You don't have to go home.
Marcus Smart.
They are kicking you out.
The ghost of Marcus Smart has done this. Dave, you throw an interesting question into the chat. I throw this into the live stream.
Is he Randy Foye without a jump shot? I mean, he's not tall.
That's
he's
tough,
thick.
Man. Being Randy Foye without a jumper is tough.
Then how could you be Randy? Like that's all I knew about Randy Foye. Like if you're Randy Foye without a jump shot, are you Randy Foye? Like
was Randy Foye kind of Randy Foye without a jump shot for a while?
No, dude, he could shoot.
Look at his numbers. Look at
no, don't do it. He was on Minnesota.
I just pulled up his best.
Here's my question.
I did like Randy Foye.
16th overall. Like, all right, Utah got a great pick earlier. Maybe this doesn't matter, but. It's a small guard who can't create off the dribble. Not a crazy athlete. Not a shooter.
Yeah.
Not really a great defender. What are we doing?
So you love him?
I don't. No.
Like,
isn't the opposite, Jay. I like good players.
Isn't this where Utah is just like, we can develop anybody?
Yes.
Like that's just confidence in their player development system, right? Of like, yeah, we could turn that dude into a player.
Feels like a Danny Ainge.
Well,
this guy
also,
is strong.
Yes.
This guy is strong.
Danny Ainge does love him some strong dudes,
he loves
man.
a strong dude.
So I gotta say though, this goes back to now, obviously not the athlete, but this goes back to thinking back to even Terry Rozier, where he's like, "Wow, what are they doing?" And if Danny Ainge has shown that, and I think he's been proven right on this, that kind of physical strength is a very important thing from your perimeter guys in the playoffs. Miami got to the finals because their guards were strong. Like that's simplifying a lot, but still, I mean, if you want to, the way they're able to muck people up was a lot of Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent. Your guys, Zach, Gabe Vincent,
killer,
putting their body on people.
Yeah.
And so this is a consistent draft philosophy Danny Ainge has had over the year, and I gotta say, it has served him reasonably well.
I don't know if I would use Terry Rozier as like a victory lap on picks. Like he's not that good.
Yeah, but
he's fine.
He was picked.
He was a good pick at 16.
Yeah,
sure.
At 16.
Yeah, okay.
Here's the thing though. This makes me honestly, it bums me out a little bit because Bryce Sensabaugh is still sitting there, and that dude is elite as a shooter. He's big as hell. He's 6'6", 230. He plays.
You know who's
big.
still sitting there? Cam Whitmore, man. Cam Whitmore is going to go to the Rockets at 20,
I'm
man.
Like the injury shoot a drop on Cam.
Same problem.
That's what it's got to be, right?
Same with Bryce Sensabaugh, right? Like if the knee was right, that guy is a top 10 pick in this draft. It seems like Cam Whitmore kind of running into the same issue. Zach, you got the day started early, letting us know that you had heard stuff.
Yeah.
As the day went on, I mean, I think we've all.
I'm shocked it's this. I'm shocked it's this far though, right? Yeah.
I mean, shit, dude, is he gonna fall into the 20s? Like, are we really like?
Look, I think Houston at 20 makes a lot. Like, if he was being considered Houston at 4, Houston at 20 at this point, if he falls to that, that's an incredible value pick. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be this guy because they're very different players, but Michael Porter Jr. was considered as the 2 pick by the Kings, and then his medicals were so bad he fell to the Nuggets at 14. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be Michael Porter Jr. by any means, but Cam Whitmore, a scorer, a lot of talent on that end of the floor, doesn't pass. If he falls into the 20s, it becomes a high value. Like, it's there's a risk, but the risk now is not, we wasted a number 4 pick. It's the 20th pick.
Especially for the Rockets
Jr. In the draft where he went 3 spots ahead of us, and the medical staff was in a room down the hall from the draft room. When he got picked ahead of us, you could hear them standing applause because they wanted no piece of relief. That. Yeah, this actually reminds me a little, almost a similar one. Is if you remember, Bol was talked about as a very high pick, and then he just like plummeted down. He went all the way into the second round.
He was in the 50s, right?
Yeah, and just
was that a foot injury?
It was a combination of things.
Yeah,
remembering back there. There was multiple medical things. There were some interview things. So I'm not saying there's that about Whitmore, but the injuries might be pretty serious for a guy to start sliding like this.
Bobby Portis, Tyus Jones, Larry Nance Jr., Kevon Looney, all taken after Terry Rozier. I rest my case.
RJ Hunter was too by the Celtics.
Yeah, it's true. That guy.
He won some summer league games, man.
He sure did. That guy.
Summer league
legend. He's a great dude. Great dude. I love RJ Hunter.
That's nice. Can't play, but he's a great dude.
We're waiting on the Lakers pick now, guys.
It's a future star, whoever it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a superstar. Kind of think I wouldn't shock me if we find out they trade down. I just don't know that anyone. Well, I wasn't expecting Cam Whitmore to still be available, but it doesn't seem like the guy that they're looking for, right? But I think like Kobe Bufkin was a guy that they were interested in. He's obviously off the board. Maybe Jordan Hawkins was a guy that they could have been interested in. He's off the board. Maybe there's not something there, and they kind of trade down, and the real star they get is the 40th pick that they traded up for today.
They do well picking late in the draft.
They're good. They've got a pretty good scouting department, man.
They really do.
We got to be honest about that.
I mean, just when you go look at the stuff that they've pulled off, like they've gotten some good pieces down in the late in the first round, early in the second. So I mean,
you don't even need to draft them. Wait for them and sign them, and then get Austin Reeves.
Yeah. If they don't trade back here, I mean, is there a guy that like is this a Chris Murray landing spot where they go for a guy who can come in and maybe be like, 8th, 9th man?
I think
I always am skeptical of that. Like, just go with the most ready guy, because the most ready guy is often just a guy who will never be good enough to play in the NBA.
Right. That's 100% what the Warriors will do. I'm thinking of like
Justin Jackson.
Yeah, they're going to take Jacob Evans again, actually.
Yeah, he's back eligible in the draft.
Patrick McCaw out there. Let's see.
I think Chris Murray's a guy. Jaime could be like I heard he had a promise by 18. So it could be hit. It could be, obviously now it's down to the Lakers or the Heat. We'll see if that ends up being true.
Well, he's going Lakers, Heat, or Warriors. There's no way that he's going to make it to 20.
He's going to 20. Yeah,
he's not making it to 20. 100%. That dude is probably the most like, oh yeah, the Warriors love this guy. People are like, oh, the Nuggets are hoping to get him. He's not gonna be there.
He ain't gonna be there. Yeah,
he ain't gonna make it.
They would have to Sets guys. That's a nailed on Sets guys.
Oh, he's good. I love him. Yeah, he's a nice player.
He's gotta shoot though. I have loved him for years. He's can do a little bit of everything. He's a rare, like, big wing in college who could probably run some ISO in the NBA, but he cannot shoot. Has never been able to shoot.
Why is it? How come Dariq Whitehead isn't gone yet? I mean, it feels
like
what
he can do, man. Like he feels like someone. Right? He feels like someone that I can't guarantee if he puts the ball on the floor, it's coming back up to him. For whatever reason, it just doesn't
Brown experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love the idea of him. I just don't know. I think that's a real project, or maybe it just at Duke it was fucked. You know, like maybe it was just a bad situation. I don't know.
He had weird injuries. Like,
yeah,
it's always tough to judge a guy during 1 year when he's hurt the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I have no idea what to make of him, honestly.
I think
I'm a huge Duke fan. I watch a lot of Duke, and I still don't know.
If he has a healthy year, like he's probably in this range, right? But yeah, that feels like someone that's going to be mid to late 20s, unless like someone like the Nets are just like, we love these wings, we'll take them.
Well, it just feels like a 6'6" guy that can shoot, and especially he can shoot pull-ups. I mean, it's not like he can't shoot off the dribble. It's just, maybe the ball handling isn't where you necessarily want it.
Yeah, but
it just feels like this is a skill that the league wants. I mean, is looking for all the time. He really. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a better player, maybe, than some of the guys that just went ahead of him.
And that might be a guy.
Is he good enough for you to care about his ability to shoot off the dribble? Like that's kind
of no Bryce Sensabaugh, right? Like, yeah. He's no Bryce Sensabaugh.
Okay.
Every comment comes back to Sensabaugh.
I think you just like saying Bryce Sensabaugh. I don't even think you like him as a player. You just like saying the name.
It's a great name. We need this name.
It's the whole conversation of Jerry and George talking about salsa. Right, like that's all that's happening right
Actually,
now.
Bryce Sensabaugh sounds like a hell of a wide receiver, right?
Oh, Bryce,
the fact that he went to Ohio State is perfect. That's an Ohio State name.
Bryce Sensabaugh definitely is like Patrick Mahomes hooked up with Bryce Sensabaugh deep in the end zone. You're like, okay, that sounds right. Yeah.
Has this been the longest stretch we've gone without knowing the pick at this point? Like, it makes me wonder if the Lakers
not liking this. Man.
I'm very curious. The Lakers are like
the Raptors.
Here's what's happening.
Here's what's happening.
The Lakers had no clue that Cam Whitmore was going to be available, and now they are rushing.
Actually, this guy, any kind of guy,
try to get information.
When it drops in your lap, you're kind of like, okay, why is he dropping? It's like, what's going on? What don't we know in this instance? And all of those things that you're trying to figure out. And now you have 5 minutes.
By the way, shout out to Vance Williams, who I'm assuming is the former NFL guy, for knowing that Gerald Sensabaugh was an NFL safety. Thank you very much for putting us on the right track. Jake Fisher from Yahoo is reporting that the reason there's a holdup is that the Lakers, Heat, and Warriors are talking to the Rockets, but we got another.
We got the pick.
There we go.
So maybe Hollinger's favorite player in the draft.
Jalen Hood-Schifino
is not John Hollinger's favorite player in the draft. It's the Killian Hayes comps have been flowing freely.
I don't know
not
what
a good
to do.
Comp. That's not the comp you want.
No, it's never the comp. I mean,
if that's the comp, how do you get drafted?
Like when we've got James Edwards III keeping track of like, oh, he finally had a good quarter. That's when you're in a rough scenario for Killian Hayes, right? That's when you know.
I feel like he had a good quarter against the Celtics last season. It was a very impressive quarter.
That was the quarter. That was it, probably. If we went back and looked, that was it. The one quarter.
This does feel like a very Lakers pick to me.
I mean, he's big.
Yeah.
Got a good body.
Strong dude.
Strong, right?
Good wingspan.
Yeah.
Perfect for them. That's exactly. Hey, we don't need shooters. That's their philosophy.
But he's a good passer, right? Like that kind of guy. He could be useful.
Needs to learn how to play basketball.
I kind of thought if they keep the pick, I had Jalen going to the Lakers at 17. But I kind of thought like maybe Leonard Millard would be a guy, and they try to like just develop, not to play right away, right? Like I don't think you expect at this point guys to play right away. But I thought, all right, that's a big dude. Try to develop. But Hood-Schifino, like he's fine. He's all right.
That's exactly it. He's fine. Yeah. And at 17, you kind of just take fine. Like
moves the ball,
There's upside there.
Yeah.
Like
maybe some insurance if Austin Reeves ends up leaving in free agency on some level of that rotation. Like that's probably not what you're hoping. Reeves. It might not be up to him. They could offer 50, right? Isn't that it?
Can't they match anything?
Better keep Austin Reeves.
Oh, they can match?
They can match.
I think that's been I think that's why we don't hear a lot of Austin Reeves stuff lately. It's just because I feel like everybody's just like, hey, the Lakers are going to match whatever's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you even let the courier who delivers the offer sheet get out the door before you sign it and hand it back.
He was their third best player.
Yeah.
But for the Lakers, though, I just would have. I think they should have just gone with somebody with a shooter, somebody that can just knock down threes, and that's probably more the look I would hope for them.
But at this stage of the draft, it's tough to get a 3-point shooter who's going to hold up defensively. Like, it's just really hard.
Shit, we saw Grady Dick go earlier. It's tough to get any 3-point shooter that's going to hold up defensively if they're not a top 5 pick. Like, I think that's the case. But at least get somebody that can shoot a 3 at this point again.
I'm out on Jalen Hood-Schifino. I just saw on the screen a graphic that said Fino, F-I-N-O. Going down, and it said failure is no option.
Oh no!
I'm out.
Oh no!
Oh no!
That's as bad as a bad logo or a logo at all.
A coaching logo.
I think that's worse than the Grady Dick.
I've already
chain.
touched on the coaching logo.
Now. When did we find that logo of Nick Nurse? Like when do you remember seeing it first? It was in that championship run, right?
Yeah, I thought he had it during the finals.
Okay,
and then taking the guitar on the team Jett.
Yeah,
which I don't.
Maybe
mind,
I remember.
like,
I don't think we saw it in the conference finals. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But if anybody was there,
he's been persistent with that. I've never seen it without it.
No, everybody missed it. Everybody missed it. But Zach is again trying to continue to needle.
I'm asking a question. I'm hosting this show.
I know what you're doing.
I missed it. I missed it completely. So it's.
I was trying to figure out, like, you mentioned the logo, the coaching logo. I was trying to figure out the first time we saw that Nick Nurse coaching logo. I think it was his rookie year, but I don't.
Probably heading into overtame of Game 3 of the 2019 Eastern Conference.
Did he whip out the hat?
It was a gift to the Van Vliet family as the new child.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, got a baby sized.
Yeah, got a onesie on that thing.
You guys are sick.
Oh, you should, Coach. You shouldn't have.
All right, who's the Heat culture pick, Zach? I know you've got a guy.
No, it doesn't matter who the pick is because their best players will come undrafted.
That's true. This pick might be a bust, and then the 3 guys they signed this summer to exhibit 10 contracts.
Draft. Immediately after this draft will be you're like, oh, these are the guys.
It'd be interesting to see. Like I'd heard Jaime was promised by 18. And so we'll see if that ends up coming true. I do know the Heat were high on him, but I don't know if it's enough to to kind of lock into to coming through. And again, we didn't know Cam Whitmore was not that Cam Whitmore's a Heat type of guy, but there have been some surprises in this draft. Like maybe there's a different person on the board that they weren't expecting to be there.
I mean, look, if the medicals don't scare them, right? That's the most talented guy available. It seems. I mean. And so, to me, I think it's a question.
Even over Sensabaugh?
I mean, no, actually.
Look,
if Sensabaugh was healthy, I take Sensabaugh. Like, I think
going to
he's
be a
top 5
point
in this draft.
Where
he can just score.
Coulibaly is going against Sensabaugh, and Dave and I are going to physically fight each other.
But
it's just
Coulibaly
that day in the chat group. That day in the group chat is going to be too much.
I do think that we're reaching the point in the draft where the teams are good enough that you. Like taking the bet on the medical is better than taking the bet. Like the guy's good. Right. If he can be on the floor, he can play for us because you have a higher bar. I mean, obviously for a team that was in the finals, you got a higher bar to get on the floor than you do for, I don't know, most of the teams they've already picked.
I don't know. Offensively, Zach, if the Miami Heat could add an offensive but much better shooting,
I'm with
Jimmy
you.
Butler,
I'm with you. Let's sign Carmelo Anthony.
Okay,
back.
I
thought you were Melo. I thought we were going
right?
Melo.
Little Melo,
retirement.
Little Melo, Bryce Sensabaugh. I mean,
I don't know that I would call Bryce Sensabaugh Little Melo.
I saw somebody call him that on TV the other day. I'm just no names.
Was it you? Was it
no,
you?
it wasn't me.
Did you rewatch something that you did?
There's no way somebody called it because it's mini mellow.
I mean, but like you said, it's sort of the Michael Porter Jr. thing, right? It's top tier talent. They fall in the draft because of medical only. It's a late pick. You know, you're a good team. And now with Miami, they're hamstrung a little bit in other ways, so maybe they can't take the same risk. But I mean, you get a guy like Cam Whitmore and he drops in your lap. I think you at least got to think about it.
I agree. I mean, I'm also like, I'm a Cam Whitmore guy. We'll see what the reason is that he dropped.
Oh, nope.
There we go.
There it is. That promise. Jaime.
I mean,
Jaime.
It doesn't not fit.
It is a perfect fit for them, Seth.
I mean, it's you know, toughness, versatility, and if we think we can teach him to shoot, we got a guy. We got a guy who can be on the floor in those spots. We got a guy who's willing to muck it up and you know, do those things and maybe bring a little bit more skill than maybe a little more playmaking skill than maybe the Caleb Martins or Haywood Highsmiths. You know, in their
Max Strus is also going to be a free agent. You know, you don't have to overextend yourself in keeping him around.
Duncan Robinson hit shots, so you can kind of feel a little more. Maybe Duncan Robinson's coming around. Maybe we don't need Max to overpay for Max Strus.
Yeah.
Hawkins is just a winner too, and that's a team that finds tough guys. That, like, I don't know if he has the best lateral mobility in the world, but they're able to hide guys who don't have the best lateral mobility. And he's going to take charges. He's going to do all the dirty stuff. He's a great rebounder. He checks a lot of boxes for the Heat. I think he'll be really good there.
He'll be really good.
He just wins. School. Winning just follows that guy. And that program was one of the most winningest during his time there, largely because of how good he was.
One of the secrets to Heat culture is a lot of adult basketball. Like, it's not a lot of, like, Jordan Poole is not a Heat guy.
Oh, no.
Even though I think he's talented, right? It's just,
is Tyler Hero a Heat guy?
You get a guy like,
that's a great question.
Like and it's just
how much longer is he a Heat guy is really the question.
But knowing you have an adult coming in, right? Like, I think if you're Miami looking at a guy like this, you could plug him in. And we watch him do this all the time. I mean, Jamal Cain was supposed to be the guy last year.
I love that he went tan suit, no tie. That's a good look, man. Tan suit is underrated.
Ready to go to Miami.
Yeah, man.
Ready to go.
That's a great.
He even washed the hair for this night. He even washed the hair. It's a big man.
Chris Murray is 100% going to the Warriors here, right? I mean, it could not, like, the oldest guy. Who's the oldest guy in the draft? That is who the Warriors are going to grant. Like, who was a fifth-year senior? They're ready to go. And Bob Fitzgerald is ready to say, you don't think this guy can play right away for this team? That's
Robbie Hummel. They're gonna draft Robbie Hummel.
They want him. They want him to wait a year before
their second timeline has kind of disappeared, huh?
Yeah. Well, let's see what Kuminga does on those pickup runs this summer.
He was looking to showcase his game in pickup.
That's always
the funniest report of the year.
That's the best report we've ever heard. That's just phenomenal.
Is there a center like in the Balkans that the Warriors can draft that's going to be like ready in a few years?
Who's the dude that played at Barcelona? James
Naji, who I like a lot. That's a project. That's like
that's a project, right? Like that's
huge project.
I don't know that they're doing projects
and they've been
anymore.
so good with projects.
Yeah, I don't know that they're doing.
They've done so
anymore.
well.
Well, now they have a pick and roll ball handler though, because Steph's not allowed to run pick and roll, but you got Chris Paul, and it's pretty much the only.
Watch them take who's my man from UConn, Adam Sonogo. Like, watch them take that guy. Like, just like, I feel like that's just a guy you can get in the 50s that they're gonna reach for right here at 19 because he's an old bucket getter big man.
Are we sure they don't take Cam Whitmore?
Oh, they're like, well, we sent Jordan Poole out today so we could get Cam Whitmore. Yeah, second time.
Replenish the second timeline.
the Santa Cruz Warriors need some help.
I love man, dude. I don't want Cam to. They've shown Cam a couple of times here in this.
It hurts when they show him.
He looks sad. He looks really sad.
Guys, I put it in the tweet announcing the show that we were going to have the green room camera analysis, and this is why. This is awful to watch. I hate it.
Sucks, man.
It
I don't
always
like it.
sucks. It's just a miserable. You just feel so bad for the kid.
Did we get anybody coming out of the stands yet?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. That's my favorite thing that we get.
Who was Darren Morningstar the first guy who did that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
we're
going way back for that.
Morningstar guy.
Way back for that. Yeah.
Didn't Karl Malone come out of the stands? Or he just dressed like he did?
I don't know. I think that was on WCW when he did that.
That's what I'm thinking.
It was an episode of Nitro.
He's wearing the.
I remember that one.
Pants.
The leather pants. They were getting ready. They were Road Wild was coming up.
What a weird era where Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone were wrestling. Can you imagine?
Jay Leno was involved in that.
Of course, of course. Jay Leno.
I would read the hell out of a story on the guys who
those guys could go though. So it's not like there have been less credible like celebrities in the ring than
that's true.
I mean, David Arquette can go too, but
well, he did Ready to Rumble, man. Like he's got the training for it.
That's right, man. That little sliding arm bar is actually really slick.
He knows what
I'll
he's
just
doing.
throw that out there.
He knows.
All right, look, man, we got 2 minutes before the Warriors make their pick, and we'll probably wrap after this. I think we've been here long enough.
We know the Warriors pick.
Oh, who are they taking?
Oh my God!
I don't want to say this dude's last name.
Pajemski.
There we go. Him.
Brandon Pajemski. That is such a Warriors pick. Him at 19? 19.
I love Pajemski. Pajemski was
19?
extremely productive, extremely efficient, can shoot the hell out of it.
Dude.
He's still pretty young. He's like Luke Kennard without the brand name.
Okay. So I officially am
Luke Kennard is a
Can the Warriors
playoff
Can the Warriors have anyone on their roster that's over 6'8"?
Now he is young. He's only 20.
Yeah.
You know?
You're thinking growth spurt? You're thinking you thinking there's going to be a 4-inch growth spurt somewhere between 20 to 22?
If there is, he would have gone to number 1 on my list.
Dude,
we know
Jay,
I'm
this
a big
is a
growth
reach.
spurt guy.
This is a reach. You could have traded down 10 spots and gotten him easily.
He was easily one of the most productive and efficient guys in college basketball. He handled
Santa Clara
a lot of responsibilities, can really shoot the ball.
Who else went to Santa Clara?
Jalen Williams.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The hipster rookie of the year.
He's actually good.
The hipster rookie of the year, Jalen Williams.
Oh, that pissed me off. Oh,
that was
God.
annoying.
Walker Kessler was a hipster rookie of the year.
Oh, well, a whole other thing happened.
Here we go.
But yeah, I it's probably a reach, and I don't like the fit there at all. Like,
yeah, this means DiVincenzo's gone, right?
He can shoot. He's smart. I'm a Pajemski guy.
Guess that means Ty Jerome is gone. Is what you mean?
Oh, now Ty Jerome. That's a conversation we can have.
Bad day
I'm
for
a
Hollinger.
big Ty
Sad
Jerome
day
guy.
for Hollinger.
Yeah, that's tough.
He kind of looks like Jack Harlow a little bit.
He looks like Jack Harlow and Patrick Baldwin Jr. had a child. Like, that's what he looks like.
By the way, I cried at White Man Can't Jump, the new one.
Why? Because you were so upset that they actually made it.
Guys, I think we're good. I think that we can end it on that.
Thank
Right?
you.
Like,
Thank
I think
you.
that's it. We appreciate everyone for watching.
No final thoughts, please.
Good.
Nope.
Good.
No.
Read The Athletic. We got great coverage on The Athletic of this draft that is ongoing. Wait,
This looks like Nico Mannion or whatever.
All right, hold on.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, he's literally there.
Live from
Fred
the draft.
Cat.
We got Fred Katz. We've been working on this all night.
Fred, go talk to Cam Whitmore right now for me, okay?
By the way, this looks like you're in front of a green screen, Fred.
It does.
It really does.
I am. I'm not even real. I'm just
AI.
AI, yeah.
I'm a hologram. I'm not even a real person. That probably explains my writing quality, but it's fine. You know, I work through it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you guys can hear me. It's very loud in here.
We can hear you.
The
Fred,
Houston Rockets
paint
are
the
strongly
scene.
considering ending Cam Whitmore's slide at number 20.
That's
There
a good pick.
Our long national nightmare is over.
Yeah. Now, Fred,
Why would you wish that on anybody?
Fred, would you like to
Cam
talk
Whitmore is
about
perfectly Houston
the
Rockets.
scene?
I think I texted.
Hold on, guys. We got
Fred's here.
Yeah, shut up. Fred can barely hear us. It's loud there. Fred, would you like to paint the scene of the draft right now, or talk about how Jay King said he cried at the end of the Jack Harlow White Men Can't Jump?
Definitely the latter. I mean, our job as reporters is to identify what's newsworthy. And what's more newsworthy, why did he cry? What happened?
Because he's an idiot, but I'll let him
Were
say
you
it.
just literally cutting onions while you were watching the movie?
I have a disease where I
We know.
cry at every single sports movie. Doesn't matter really what happened. Like sports
What?
movies just get me.
Blue chips?
Little Giants got you.
Wouldn't it be great if it wasn't just
Little
sports
Giants
movies
is emotional.
and you just cried every time you
Any
watched a
movie.
sporting event? Like any time, like and the Celtics fall 94-78
And
to
you
the
just
Pistons,
sobbing.
and Jay King can't go to the post-game presser because he's just bawling at his seat behind the
I think
basket.
that's
You
going to
guys
be him
haven't
at every
watched it,
Grizzlies
though.
game next year. When every time he sees the Grizzlies play, it's just going to
Yeah.
be waterworks.
Also, just real quick, as we were about to cut it off there because Jay said just something asinine, Fred in our private chat, in all caps, no, let me in. Don't go. I'm here. Please let me in. I beg you, please.
What you got? What was so important?
I was
We've
trying
been
so
trying to make
hard.
this work.
The internet here is so bad. Okay, so this is basically the Titanic of media seating situation. There are more athletic reporters here than there are athletic seats with the media.
Say draft picks.
No, well,
Also,
that too.
Yeah.
So I had to be in the silent media room at Barclays watching the game on TV. And the whole time I'm like, why am I not just wearing my pajamas and podcasting with Dufour? Probably not in my pajamas, I guess, if I'm podcasting with Dufour. But I finally made it out to a seat. I have stolen Kelly Eco's seat.
Wow.
I'm now here, and you guys are signing off, and I haven't
The
done
Rockets
anything.
are on the clock right now. Poor Kelly. His team is on the clock. The team he covers is on the clock.
And
And
you took
Fred
the
has
seat.
stolen his seat.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a seat. I will say I came out just in time to witness a super cool moment where I don't know how to pronounce anyone's name. I don't know
Pochemski.
anything about college basketball. The guy Miami drafted.
Oh, Jaime Jaquez.
Yes. So he's sitting right in front of us, and right as he finds out that he was drafted, Miami, obviously he and his family all start celebrating, and Juwan Howard and his family are at the table next to them, and they notice. Juwan Howard starts celebrating like crazy. Juwan Howard's son starts celebrating like crazy for him and screaming, "Welcome to the 305." That's why the draft is fun, right? Like it's just pure, unadulterated joy for everybody.
Except Cam Whitmore.
Well,
he gets to go to Houston now.
But he just got drafted, and so like it. Not I don't want to make fun of the guy. Like it sucks. I mean he legitimately has an injury issue. I muted you, Fred. He has an injury issue, and he dropped to 20, and he got drafted, and that was actually good to see.
What's the difference
Hold on.
between going 4th or going 20th? I mean, other than like millions of dollars.
A lot of money.
Can we talk about how prescient we were in the group chat the other day? Someone was talking about Cam Whitmore sliding.
Me?
Zach says Houston should still take him. And I said Houston has nothing but Cam Whitmore's. We basically
Will did it.
we knew it.
We did this.
We knew it.
That's it.
It happened because we said it would.
We
Yeah.
should end it here before Jay says something else.
Hey, if we've learned anything from this past NBA season, it's that you can get drafted during a Taco Bell commercial and all will be well.
That's true. And that's our sign-off applause. Thank you, Fred
Don't bet
Katz,
against
for
the fat boy.
figuring out the Barclays Center Wi-Fi to give us that important report that, one, Jay King cries at all movies, and two,
And
Juwan
after all
Howard.
Celtics games.
And after all Celtics games. Exactly.
And press conferences too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes if he normally misses his deadline because he's just crying,
That's
so
true.
his editor has to write that kind of into the budget.
He's going to go cry after this podcast.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get a rebuttal from Jay King, so we will take that report as gospel from Fred Katz. Thank you to Fred. Thank you to Seth. Thank you to Mo. Thank you to Jay. Thank you to Dave. Thank you to Tim. Thank you for watching the show, for subscribing to The Athletic. If you haven't subscribed to The Athletic, what's wrong with you? Subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel that this is on so you can get us talking to your face, and you see our faces every damn day on this internet. And subscribe to The Bounce. It's a newsletter that myself and Shams Charania do every morning, Monday through Friday. Subscribe. It's free. It's one of the few things that we do is free, and it's free for you. Just sign up at theathletic.com/thebounce. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the draft. Enjoy the Taco Bell commercials.
I can go eat pizza now.
Yay.